Welcome back, guys, to another season of the ASL. It's season 12. I am Nyokin, joined by Scan. Scan, how are you doing? You're back for season 12. Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm so excited to watch this ASL season 12 round of 24.
Yeah, it should be great. We've got a lot of new players, and I forgot, of course, we've got to go into the interviews. So let's see who they're going to be interviewing first.
기다림 끝에 ASL 시즌 12로 다시 인사드리게 됐습니다. 이번
previous season, Larva finally achieved his dream goal. He won the ASL champion title.
과연 어떤 명경기들이 여러분을 기다리고 있을지
And we have been waiting for a couple months to start this ASL season 12. And we are here to talk to Sharp and
자, 그 선수 정말 오랜만에 경기장에서 24강 첫 경기를 앞두고 만나게 되셨는데 깜짝 놀랐습니다. 두 분 의상이
저도 당황했어요. 옆에 보고.
신발까지 어떻게 이렇게 맞춰 입은 듯이 약간 상대에게 카운터를 날리는 듯한 느낌이 들었거든요. 조기석 선수, 김범수 선수의 첫 경기를 앞두고 계신 기분이 좀 어떠신가요?
일단은 범수가 이번에 방송도 안 하고 열심히 연습을 하더라고요. 그래서 저는 방송 키면서 엄청 열심히 준비했는데 과연 어떻게 준비했을지 좀 기대가 되고 있어요.
Sharp was also preparing for this ASL round of 24. He wanted to check out Noob's stream and how he's doing, checking out his vlog, but he wasn't really streaming.
근데 이게
So he is thinking Noob has prepared a lot.
잘못 입는 그런 게 좀 비슷한 것 같아요 아마.
지금 서로를 계속해서 스캔하고 계세요.
So Noob just commented about both of the fashions.
이야기를 나눠봐야 할 것 같은데
We are both bad at wearing good clothes, thinking about all those good fashion looking.
아쉬웠을 텐데 많은 분들이 이번에는 그 아쉬움 날릴 수 있다. 조기석의 지금 기세라면 하는 기대를 좀 가지고 계시거든요. 조기석 선수 생각은 어떠세요?
Previous season, a lot of fans expected you to climb up a lot and have a high expectation, but you got eliminated in round of 16. But how do you feel about this ASL season 12?
계속 무궁무진하구나 성장 가능성이. 그래가지고 이번 시즌 뭔가
So previous season, he said he had to learn a lot of stuff after he lost his matches. He worked on his weaknesses and he prepared a lot for this ASL season 12.
그리고 시즌 12 이렇게 두 시즌마다 또 특이하게 이렇게 본선에 올라오셨더라고요. 그동안 중간중간 그래도 공백이 좀 있었기 때문에
So you were missing previous season. You showed up in ASL season 10.
긴장되는데 이제 처음 올라왔을 때랑 두 번째 올라왔을 때보다는 조금 덜한 것 같아요. 아무래도.
조기석 선수를
Or maybe this is his second time of climbing into ASL season 12.
속한 선수들이 김민철 선수 그리고 원지훈 선수 다들 좀 기세가 올라온 선수들이거든요.
There are a lot of amateur players like Sins.
일단 조를 확인했을 때
So
좀 빨리
couple other amateur players were also trying their best to climb up into ASL.
제일 먼저 해야 되고
What you should be doing in this ASL season 12. And Noob is saying
조기석 선수는 예선에서
he has some pressure,
오셨을 것 같아요.
people having a lot of expectation how he will be playing in this ASL season 12. So he needs to play really well in this round of 24 to show his true skill.
뚫고 올라올 수 있을까요?
일단 많이 참가를 해봤잖아요. 최다 전적이고 최다로 이제 시즌을 참가하니까 이제 예선에서
the caster
뭔가 이제
asked Sharp, how do you qualify?
잘 되더라고요 게임이.
Like you have been playing so much of a qualifier compared to the other players, and you've always been qualifying so easily. So he said he has the most experience playing all the qualifiers and group stages plus pro experience. He thinks those experience is just pretty much helping him to play better compared to the other players. So one of the fans asked a question to Sharp.
첫 경기가 그래도 토스전이니까.
His nickname right now he's using on YouTube is Mawang, King of Mine, Spider Mine. So the question was, is today are you going to be a king of Spider-Mine or king of
안
Marine.
당해보려고
So
노력해야죠
I
제가.
think he says Spider-Mine
김범수
today because
선수에게도
it's 10
팬분이
versus
질문을
Protoss.
올려주셨습니다.
Another
세 번째
question to
ASL이지만
Noob.
이름처럼 아직까지는 강렬한 인상이나 별명이 좀 없어서 아쉬운데 이번 시즌 좀 강렬한 경기력 보여줄 수 있을지
We don't have much of a
질문이
background
올라왔네요.
of you in
조기석
this
선수가
ASL or
마왕이라면
pro
또
level scene.
김범수 선수도 이에 상응하는 좀 강한
How
별명을
well
얻고 싶지 않으신가요?
Will you play in this ASL season 12?
일단 별명은
Or how
둘째치고
will you
일단
perform
처음으로 16강
this
한번 가고 싶어서
round of 24
일단
group stage?
최대한 열심히 잘 해보도록 하겠습니다.
So Noob
자,
said
그럼 끝으로 두 선수의 각오를
he's
들어보도록
desperate.
하겠습니다.
He really
조기석
wants to
선수
make it into
각오
round of
한번
16.
어떻게
He'll
보면
try his
이번에
best to make
개막전이
it into
처음인 것
round of
같은데
16.
오늘 후회 없는
This is
경기하고
the very first
꼭
game
올라가서 기분 좋게
of ASL season 12.
네, 김범수 선수 한 말씀
Sharp
해주시죠.
said he will try his best
준비
and
많이 한 만큼 최선을 다해서 꼭
show his
처음
great games
16강 한번 진출 한번 해보도록 하겠습니다.
and make it into round of
네, 두
16.
선수 개막전 멋지게 열어주시길
And
부탁드리겠습니다.
Nip
인터뷰
also said the
고맙습니다.
similar
감사합니다.
answer.
자, 이렇게 24강 첫 경기를 앞두고 있는 조기석 선수와 김범수 선수와 함께 이야기 나눠봤습니다.
So we just
두
finished
선수의
talking with
기장함이 좀
Sharp
감도는
and Noob.
인터뷰였는데요. 이번에는 두 번째 경기를 앞두고 있는 선수들도
The second match
만나봐야겠죠.
will be
김민철 선수와 원지훈 선수
Soki versus
만나보겠습니다.
Sins. We will
안녕하세요.
be meeting up with them.
자, 김민철 선수 정말 오랜만입니다. 반가워요.
Hello, Soki.
경기장에 딱 왔을 때 느낌이
How have you been?
어떠셨어요?
You have been missing in this ASL
오랜만에 온 느낌이어가지고
ASL
오늘
tournament.
살짝 긴장되네요.
사실
How do
지난
you
시즌
feel? And
11
Soki said
와일드카드전에서 아쉽게 좀
since he hasn't played ASL
좀 있었어요.
offline
또
stage
그 사이에 이몽규
for a
선수가
while,
우승하는 또
he
저그가
feels
우승하는 모습을
the
집에서
pressure
좀
of this
바라보셨을 텐데 ASL 구도에 대한 좀
playing on
느낌은
the
어떠셨나요?
offline stage.
제가 근데
He's
와일드카드전
somewhat
딱
feeling
떨어지고
nervous.
나서
네.
게임을 조금 그때 딱 깨달았어요. 그래서 조금
So he said he
대성장 안 하는 게
learned
좀 아쉽기도
something
했었어요.
new.
그래가지고
네.
So previous
이번 시즌은
seasons,
좀
like a couple
잘해
seasons ago, he
보려고
played the wild card.
그
When he got
깨달음이 오늘
eliminated in the wild
개막전에서도
card,
좀
he learned
계속해서
something a
이어질
lot.
가능성은 어떻게 점치고 계시나요?
네,
What is your chance of making it
잘한다 하는데
into?
오프라인에서는 좋은 성적, ASL에서는 좋은 성적을 거둔 적이 없어가지고
How well will you perform in
팬분들이
this
이제
ASL
이번에는 안
season
믿을
12?
텐데 일단은 안 믿어주시면 좋겠어요. 기대 안 하고 보시면은 좋을 것 같아요.
So
안
many
믿어야지
people
하는
always,
그 마음
a lot of
한켠에
people
김민철 선수의 믿음은
have
굳건하세요.
a lot
어떤
of
분들이 오늘
expectation
꼭 믿음에 좀
that he will
부합하는
play really well on
결과가
the
나왔으면
offline
좋겠고요.
stage
자, 원지훈
and
선수와도
climb up
인사를
a lot.
나눠보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
But he,
자,
Soki doesn't
ASL의
want
세
fans
번째
to
도전을 이어가고 계십니다.
have a lot of
물론 지난
expectation.
시즌에도
He doesn't want to
도전에
have pressure.
올라오시기는
And
했지만
hello, Sins.
이제는
This is
ACS를
your.
졸업한 신분으로 또 도전하는 입장이신데요.
I think this is his
소감이
third time. How do you feel? And you also played the ASL. You also graduate, getting in the
네, 원지훈
ACS second
선수의
place.
첫 경기
So you
상대들을
won't be able to play
살펴보니까
future ACS tournament.
굉장히 강한
And
상대들을
you've also
쭉
been playing this
만나셨더라고요.
ASL.
네네.
김민철 선수도
Many
만났었고
times.
김정우 선수도 만났었고 다시
How do you
김민철
feel?
선수를 만나게
And-
되셨는데 좀 야속하지 않았나요, 이 태진이?
Okay, the caster asked Sins,
좀 빡세다 생각은 했었는데
네.
you
이제
feel
지금은
unfair
좀
about this
달라요.
group
오,
stage
그래요?
지금은 이제
because you have been playing against all those very strong players like Soki in the very first ASL.
좀 야속하다고
And-
생각했지만 이제는 좀 다른 마음가짐으로
Was it
네.
오히려
effort
지난
previous
시즌들에
season?
비해서 좀 자신감이 생기신 것 같아요, 원준 선수.
And Sins said
시즌이 이제 계속 될수록
that time, since he didn't have much of
여유로움이
a
생기는 것 같아요.
experience compared to the other
좀
pro level
자신감을
players,
얻고 이번 시즌에 도전하실
but
텐데
he thinks
그동안
he's
좀
now
저그의 강세들이 좀
getting
이어졌잖아요.
used to this
또
offline
철벽
stage.
저그, 김민철
He
선수
feels
입장에서는
comfortable
그 저그의
playing on this offline
강세를 내
stage,
이름으로 좀 종지부를
just like
찍고
playing at
싶다 하는
home.
욕심이 있으실 것 같아요.
So he'll play his
저그들이
best and
너무 잘하더라고요.
make it into round of 16.
근데 저도 좀 요새는 좀 잘하고
자,
있어가지고
네.
진짜 오프라인
The caster was saying something about the Zerg. A lot of Zerg players has been
이번에는 두
showing
선수에게 전해주신 팬분들의
great result
질문인데요. 먼저
against
김민철 선수 요즘
all
정말 바쁜
the other
생활을 보내고
players,
계시는 걸로
and
알고
they've been
있습니다.
consistently
공익근무,
playing really, really well.
방송까지 병행하고 있는데 그
And
와중에도 기세가 워낙 좋아서 이번 시즌 많은 기대를
how do
모으고
you feel,
계시는데 이런
Soki? So
바쁜
Soki
와중에도
said
실력을 좀 유지할 수 있는 비결에 대해서 궁금해하시더라고요.
처음엔 좀 힘들었는데 이제는
Okay,
좀
we'll
이게
skip that
적응이
part,
되다 보니까 오히려 이제
the
규칙적인
question was-
생활을 하다 보니까
네.
he is doing he's currently doing the public
잘해주는
service.
게 아닌가
He's
싶기도
not doing the
하고,
active
그것은
military service, he's doing the
제가
public service, and you have a
엄청
lot of
잘한다라기보다는
tough
사람들이
schedule.
이제 점점
How do you
연습을 하다
maintain
보니까
your skill? That's his
그게 좀 있지
fans
않나.
question.
깨달음을 얻으셨다면서요.
깨달음은 없긴 했는데.
So he said he learned something from those previous tournaments, from his mistakes, and he also watched a lot of VODs of other pro level Zergs and Terran Protoss players are playing, and pretty much building up all those knowledge and keeping up his knowledge, skill, maintaining his skill.
되는 거 아니야라는 불안함이 드셨나요? 아니면 오히려 좀 자신감이 붙으셨을까요?
아니 제가 저 질문을 봤었는데 저는
So one of the question,
정말요?
저런 말을 한 적도 없는데
do you feel anxious
그럼 만약 지금 머릿속에 상상으로
when you made it into round of 24?
좀
Like in your dream, and I'm not sure why they're talking about the dream, but
24강을
so since he never had a dream like make it into round of 24.
24강을 뚫는 꿈은 꾸지 않는다.
So he doesn't dream about making it into round of 24 anymore. So he is saying he wants to climb up higher. He wants to climb up more than make it into round of 24. He wants to make it into round of 16 or even higher. Any last word? And Soki, I will not. I will not. I will not disappoint you from his performance and try his best. And since also said pretty much the same thing.
자, 시작부터 선수들의 열기가 뜨겁게 느껴지는 것 같습니다. 과연 8월 마지막 토요일에 뜨겁게 만들어줄 선수는 또 어떤 선수가 될지, 누가 가장 먼저 16강에 이름을 올리게 될지, ASL 시즌 12 24강 개막전 경기 지금 바로 함께 하시죠.
Yeah, so that was an interesting interview with all the players. You know, this group, I like it quite a bit. We had, I think in the BSL Discord, votes on which was the group of death. And actually, all the groups, I think, are pretty even. You have two favorites pretty much in every single group. In this group, of course, it's Sharp and Sulky. But I know you were telling me that Noob hadn't been playing lately, right? Like you told me he had quit like a few months ago.
Yeah, he quit last year of December, and he came back 2 months ago.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what Noob's level is. And then, of course, we have Sins. And I got to ask you, do you remember Sins' game last season versus Effort?
Oh, yes. He made a double robo and walking Reaver all the way to Effort's main natural base. I remember that one.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun to see what Sins has come up with. And he's going up against another Zerg player as his first round opponent. And remember, this is round of 24 where it's best of one. Anything can happen. Maybe he's perfected that double robo walk the Reaver across the map build. Yeah, this group is going to be fantastic. Sharp, we also know that Sharp, you know, in the previous year wasn't playing so well, but now he's really turned it up. And then, of course, Sulky, he's always done very well. I think that, of course, they're the favorites for the group, but I think Noob and Sins have a shot. What are your thoughts on this particular group?
So the very first map is always going to be important for all players because sometimes the map is somewhat favorite towards to either Zerg or Terran or Protoss. And I'm pretty sure the very first map it is going to be played on Eclipse. It is going to be Sharp versus Noob, and you have been playing a lot of ladder games, so you should know Eclipse is a very hard for Terran to play against Protoss, taking your third expansion. And Noob also knows about this. I'm pretty sure he might have prepared a lot of shenanigan moves on Eclipse since it's a best of one. I'm excited to see what kind of plays he will do.
Yeah, Eclipse is very, very, very tough Terran versus Protoss with the open map where you're trying to take your third base, as you mentioned. Now, I gotta ask, what are your thoughts on the new ASL maps? These are maps that I have not played yet because I exclusively play ladder, so until those maps are in the ladder, I'm not going to have played them. From my initial thoughts are, 3 of them just look pretty normal, but then you get to Lemon and you're like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, there are a couple of new maps like Lemon, Revolver, Goodnight, and wasn't there one more? Goodnight?
Largo. Largo,
yeah,
Goodnight.
Largo. Yeah, Largo. So Largo is just pretty much like a jungle version, like polypoid version of Circuit Breakers. It's kind of like wide open on the center of the map. It's somewhat easy to play for Terran since there's not much of a terrain that Protoss or Zerg can abuse. And a couple of other maps like Lemon is a concept map, like you cannot play standard. There's 2 Vespene Geysers in the main base, no Vespene Geyser at the natural. And there's a lot of mineral fields at the main base, so you can also see some kind of like a shenanigan moves by Protoss, like only one Nexus and going carry immediately because there's a lot of mineral fields in the main base.
Yeah, there are a lot of mineral fields, but it's layered. You only have access to what, like 8 or 9 at a time, and then another row opens up. You know, when I first saw that map, I was having flashbacks to the old Blizzard ladder maps because, man, those old maps were just all over the place. Like, if you look at Lemon's, the way it's laid out, the natural is just so exposed. You can literally hit from a 360 angle. It's completely open. So I'm curious to see how that map is going to play out. I don't see a lot of games personally when I watch Pro League. Most of the time it's on Largo or Revolver. Revolver's another interesting map for PvZ, right? It's got a huge entrance to the natural. It's also got, but it also has a small bridge that kind of helps Protoss a little bit. But that's going to be a pretty tough map for Protoss, I think. But we were also talking about how tough Protoss versus Zerg was going to be on Eclipse a long time ago. So maybe, you know, PvZ has already been figured out. And remember last season we were even talking about how hard PvZ was on Hidden Track, but then we only saw like 2 games on that map, right?
I think so, yeah. We haven't casted much of a game on Hidden Track.
Yeah, so, are we ready? We're going to be getting into game 1 momentarily. It's going to be Sharp versus Noob. As I mentioned, Sharp, he's been doing very, very well lately. Pretty good versus Protoss too, 43% win rate. That's no slouch. So he's going to be a tough opponent for Noob sitting on the other side. And as you mentioned, I think he played in round or ASL 8 and 10. So he shouldn't have as many games as Sharp.
Yes, and when we look at the Sharp's statistics information, he has only 42%, but that's just the overall, like, combining with all those ASL Season 1 to ASL Season 12, but if you look at his previous season, like playing against Best and playing against Bisu on ASL Season 11, he was absolutely dominating against all those strong Protoss players. So I'm excited to see how he is going to perform. And here is Noob we are seeing. He has 100% win rate against Terran.
Yeah, but not a big sample size. What is it, like 4 or 5 games total for Noob? So he hasn't done very well in the ASL. Probably been eliminated both times in the round of 24. You know, whenever I think of Noob, I also think of YSC. For those of you that are kind of unaware of who Noob is, a year or 2 ago, or even 2 or 3 years ago, all the Habit U's that you saw, that Sham 2 run, Noob was playing in those. So that's this guy, if you're thinking, oh, who's Noob? Well, he's that Protoss player from a couple years ago playing in all the foreign tournaments. So let's get into our first series of ASL 12. It's going to be Sharp versus Noob. And it is going to be on Eclipse.
Oh, yes.
All right, in the bottom left, in the blue, our Terran player, Ma Wong, Mind King. It is Sharp. And in the top right, we have our red Protoss player. It is Noob. And I wasn't too sure what the first map was going to be, but this all of a sudden makes me very excited for the next matchup, the Soul Key versus Sins, because I'm really hoping we see the double Robo. Now, there's been innovation for all the races lately. Specifically in TVP, we've seen even more passive play from Terran sitting in their base all the way to 3-2. But when we were casting some of the StarCast games, we saw people going for gasless expand from the Protoss side, going for a Zealot pressure into straight Nexus.
Oh, yes.
Now you have more experience playing with players like Noob. Is he somebody that we might see that build from?
Personally, when we look at the pylon placement and his probe scout timing, I have a feeling he is not interested of going for gas steal or any kinds of proxy gate. We see he's not built. Okay, his probe is not standing right next to the pylon, so we are going to expect to see some Nexus. Yeah.
12 Nexus. And what's this? Okay, he is just... Ooh, is this going to be a forward Rax? No. Okay, he was just, I guess, scouting for potential proxies, but I'm looking at the scout pattern. I'm not sure if he even scouted the bottom side near the natural for a potential proxy. So kind of a weird scout right there from Sharp. Now, meanwhile, we of course see that 12 Nexus coming down from Noob, and if this goes unpunished, it's going to be extremely hard for Sharp, but with the forward or slightly forward Rax, he may be able to punish it, but there's no gas. Now, what are your thoughts on this opener? Because it's really hard to punish a 12 Nexus if you're not able to follow up with Vultures.
That is absolutely true, and there are a couple of high grounds that Protoss can also buy some time with the probe or even with the single Zealot in early game. And since Sharp built that the barracks at the natural, it does help to send out the Marine towards to the Noob's natural to take down his Nexus. But since he's gasless, I don't think. Okay, he's building the second depot. He's building a second depot for some reason.
He got the second SCV out. Okay, now this is... I thought the way he was moving his SCV, he was going to try and hide a second barracks. I would have hated that, by the way, because it would have been so slow. But now we see that that's not the case, and he is just going to push across with 4 SCVs and a Marine. Now, just looking at this seems like an underwhelming amount of SCVs to send. Like, usually when you go for pressure like this, don't you have to send like 6 to 8 SCVs? I don't see how this is really going to have much success.
I'm also looking at the Noob's build. He has built a second pylon with the second gateway. We see his... Ooh, that's a very nice probe drill. Will he be able to take down the first probe? Maybe not. But he needs some luck to kill one more hit. Oh yes, he will take it down.
Right, he gets the first Marine. The second Marine is heavily damaged. He took out 2 probes though, but the bunker is up. However, the Marine isn't in range of the Nexus, so this is just going to sit here and be annoying. Now,
I think this is very good looking for Noob because he already has the second gateway at the main base. We can see from the minimap, they're not showing the screen, but he does have the second gateway, and he just started mining the gas, and that means he probably have a lot of Zealot production from those gateway, and Gun is also be the follow-up. But when we look at Sharp's economy, he brought a couple of SCV because he wanted to take down the Nexus, but he's not able to. His command center is really late. He doesn't have gas yet. I think this is such a big trouble for Terran at the moment.
Yeah, I was watching Sharp's minerals as that was unfolding. He went, oh my god, no! That's so horrible for Sharp there. He's going to lose another... He loses another Marine before the bunker completes. That probe got the killing blow there. Noob's going to lose the probe, but the Zealot is still alive, and he still has 2 Zealots, right? Okay, well, we know what's going to happen here. So he's going to run by, probably. As you mentioned, the double gateway is already done, but Sharp's doing a good job putting down pressure at the natural, but we see red movement down at Sharp's side of the map. I see it running by that bunker, and there's nothing on the ramp.
There are 2 Zealot trying to do the run by. There are 2 Zealot, but at the same time, there are 3 Marines. 1 Marine will go down, and I don't see any army coming out from Noob. I think he's waiting for the Gun production, but it might not. I think if he surrounds the Marine. Oh no! This is a disaster.
Yeah, I don't want to say this is over, but when you're playing at this level, you cannot have this type of scenario where Zealots are in your main wreaking havoc on the SCV line. Meanwhile, you can't put on pressure at all, and he accidentally misrallied another Marine. We don't even know if I'm looking at his main. His factory hasn't even started, right? Look at his gas. He doesn't even have 100 gas. Robo's gonna be done before that factory even starts.
We just saw Sharp's webcam. He was biting his lips because he knows he's in a big trouble. I think he's taking a big breath that he knows he's completely behind. He just saw robotic facilities done when factory is just now starting. Sharp knows this is bad looking game, but he needs to overcome since he's a tier 1 player against a tier 4 Protoss of this round of 24.
Yeah, well, this bunker pressure really did not work at all, but you got to give credit where credit is due. The probe control from Noob was really, really good. Comboed with that Zealot control to get on top or to kill the Marines and go for counterplay. Really nicely done. Now, Noob has so much map control. He can literally do whatever he wants, whether he wants to take a third Nexus, whether he wants to go into 2-base Stargate or something like that. If this was Stork, I'm pretty sure we would see that, but he is just going to put down that third Nexus. You know, he could even put down a 4th Nexus. I would like it at bottom right since that would be easier to defend. But Noob, he's going to be going for that Reaver. And Sharp, dude, you got to get up a turret ring because I don't see how he's ever going to hold this with most likely just going to be 2 tanks.
I thought that was a probe at the 12 o'clock slide when you were talking about the 4th expansion. I thought he was going to putting down the 4 Nexus at 7-minute mark. If Artosis was watching this game, he would be just freaking out. Like, 7 minutes, only 4 good, taking 4 Nexus? How do I kill this expansion?
I think that at bottom right might actually be a probe. That's the base that I would like to see him take. Now SCV comes in here and sees that this is a Nexus. So he's not going to be feeling too good about that. SCVs are being pulled off to repair. Turret is coming down. It looks like that's going to actually get up in time. However, this is kind of in an awkward position. It doesn't help you defend the Nat, and it also doesn't help defend the mineral line at the main. But the shuttle, okay, is he just going to bust the bunker? That's looked like what he's going to do. He does not have siege mode. Oh, what's that Scarab?
Yeah, the pathfinding is sometimes really, really weird when you look at those Scarab shot, and the Marine will go down. One remaining Marine will also go down, but I don't think the siege...
Oh no.
Okay, finally the siege mode is done, but this game is looking over to me.
Yeah, Reaver is just going to drop right on top of those tanks, and with that tank falling, this is probably going to be game over any moment now. Sharp, of course, he's going to try and play it out because this is best of 1. He doesn't want to automatically just be dropped down into the loser side of the bracket. But look at the supply, 70 to 36, not even really mining his natural. Meanwhile, Noob just transferred all his probes to top middle, so he's on 3 bases.
Wow.
Yeah, well, this was not what I was expecting because, as I said, Sharp and Sulky definitely favorites for this group. However, Noob, he's looking very, very dangerous.
I want to see what those building right next to the Nexus at the main base, those square sites is looking really, really fat. It might be... Oh, never mind. Those support bay with the observatory and other stuff. So yeah, finally 2 more Reavers is coming out. Sharp is trying to maintain the game, even though he knows he's completely behind. But I think he wants to try his best and try to do some warm-up, even though he's gonna lose this game, most likely. And we see a Templar Archive with the Stargate at the same time, so this is going to be the Reaver into Arbiter switch.
Yep, so it is going to be Arbiter follow-up, and there is the probe at bottom right setting up for his 4th base. And as a Terran player, my heart is breaking seeing that armory go up at 945, and that is the first armory, not the second one. So his upgrades are mega delayed. If Sharp wants to even have a chance at this game, the only chance he can go for is to literally camp the entire game out. He's down 40 supply. There's only 90 supply total for Noob. Here he comes with another drop. It's double Reaver this time, and this is going to be all she wrote. Sharp just doesn't have anything, and Noob is going to take an easy win in game 1.
None of the Reavers died. Wow, that's really tanky, I should say. And this game kind of reminds me of my previous season, Scan versus Snow, where Snow has gone for 12 Nexus. I'm glad that I didn't go for cheese against the 12 Nexus.
Yeah, this just did not work out for Sharp at all.
Yeah, I guess this is like one of the great example. You should not go cheese against Protoss on Eclipse because the rush distance is really, really far. Doesn't work. Just doesn't work.
Yeah, you know, every, I don't want to say like new Terran player, but lower level Terran player, you always think like, okay, they 12 Nexus, I can pressure it. And really, unless you're really committing to the pressure, it just doesn't work. I mean, you saw it. The Marines, he rallied just one Rax Marine, but he only pulled 5 SCVs, and that's just simply not enough to actually bulldoze the natural. And if you don't commit to killing it, this is exactly what happens, is the game just snowballs extremely hard in the favor of Protoss. I'm surprised that Sharp is still holding on. He's got up a decent tank count. You know, he's got like 7 tanks, but he's just never going to get outside of his base.
Yeah, finally he is upgrading all those research. The research upgrade from the machine shop. I think he wants to get a couple of Vulture out to have some map awareness with the spider mines, but the barracks is somewhat out of placement, and
yeah,
barracks will go down. That's not looking great.
Ooh, he saved it. I was going to say, even losing the barracks hurts, because that's an additional 150 minerals that you have to build, and it also delays your factory count. We see that the gateway count is up to 7 now. Arbiter is going to be coming out within the next 30 seconds to 60 seconds. 5th base potentially going up for Noob at bottom middle, and Shuttleman. There's a second shuttle out onto the map.
I also realized Sharp doesn't have Academy. He doesn't have Constant Station whatsoever, because he had to queue up all those SCVs since he has been losing so much, and he doesn't know what's coming next. Either it is going to be mass shuttle playstyle with the High Templar Storm drop, or even Carrier, or even Arbiter. He doesn't know what's going on. This is completely blind right now.
I like how Noob has like every single unit other than, as you mentioned, the carriers. He's got Templars coming out. He's got Reaver with speed. He's got Arbiter coming out. He's had speed on his Zealots for quite a while. Still Sharp stuck on 3 factories. There's the 4th one.
I like the Arbiter choice this type of game, because Terran upgrade is completely slow, and many of Terran viewers out there probably know that upgrade is really important against Protoss, and Sharp is completely behind with the upgrade. He will have a difficult time taking down all of the Protoss units with the cloaked army. So yeah, I think that's also a good choice for Noob.
Yeah, I wonder what's gonna happen once that Arbiter comes out. As you mentioned, there's no scan, so like if he just loses this turret, does his army just instantly die?
Upgrade already.
Yeah, he's got 1-1, so I guess he ended up going into double armory, because that could not have completed. Yeah. Oh, actually, that armory at the top was his 2nd armory. Okay, so we do see that the starport is almost done, so his science facility is going to be coming down pretty soon. He's still massively behind. It is 177 to 114. If he wants to defend this attack, he needs like so many buildings in the air, drawing all the Dragoon shots, and then meanwhile the ground eating up all of the Zealots. Let's see if he can hold it, because we know the attack is coming momentarily. I saw the Arbiter cloak. Yeah, there it is.
So Sharp just confirmed the 12 o'clock expansion a couple seconds ago, and he realized there's also another expansion at the 5 o'clock, so he knows 12 o'clock the Nexus has to be the 5th Nexus. He knows Protoss has been mining for 4 days long. That means Protoss is going to be maxed out very, very soon, and Sharp really needs to throttle up and put lots of spider mines, and just have to pray spider mines do like thousands of damage to the Zealots and goons, and just kill it at the same time. But I don't think Noob is Noob is going to bust as a Nat?
The way he's positioning his units, it looks like he's not going to do that. I would have expected him to bust by now. I mean, he has full vision. He sees that this army is really not the scariest. The longer that Noob waits, I mean, Sharp is approaching an amount of supply that could hold this attack. If he gets up to 165, like, he can actually defend it. Okay, here we go. This is going to be a stasis. How many units can it hit? It hits all the tanks in the back, and here comes Noob. He's going to try and barrel down on this army. You can see that Rax drawing up. Oh, yeah, the Zealots are eating so many mines.
Oh, no. That was 4 High Templar inside of the 1 shuttle, and he couldn't use any of Storm. But eventually, Noob has quite a lot of army remaining, and just walk off to the front, and Sharp taps out. Noob is surprised. He is very, I guess he's very shocked that he won the game.
Yeah, I mean, if you looked at the supply, okay, there's the reaction. The way, how big his eyes were, I thought he was kind of surprised that Sharp didn't just die so easily. That was surprising. If you looked at the supply, Protoss went down to 140 and Terran was still at 115. So even with that big stasis, Sharp traded about as effectively as I said, or as he could have.
That looked like the lagged reaction.
Yeah.
He's very happy. Well, I'm so satisfied too. Because I've been helping out a couple games on Eclipse, but oh, he did well.
Yeah, it's always nice to see. Obviously, Noob is not a new player, but he's someone that you don't expect to make it like round of 8, round of 4. It's nice to see that he potentially is going to make it to the round of 16 because he's going to be the first player in our winners side of the bracket. And now, if I remember correctly, I'm not sure if we're going to be going into the second game immediately. Remember, it's best of 1, or if we're going to be going into commercial. Looks like we're going to be going into commercial. So don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to be coming up with Sulky versus Sins in just a few minutes. It's going to be a PVC again on Eclipse. Alright guys, we're back after that quick break. We're getting a look at the Hot 6 banners. I thought we were going into a Hot 6 commercial, but instead, this is of course going to be the Hot 6 Tumblr, right?
Yeah, I think we are going to see some Africa Star League ASL Season 12. Season 12 event, Ask ASL. If you ask a question on the ASL mainstream platform, leaving a comment, you will get a coffee gift. Only 4 people will get it. And if you also get the the winner prediction event, if you get it right, you also get an ASL Tumblr. 2 people will get it.
자, 개막전부터 흥미진진한 경기들이 펼쳐지고 있습니다. 과연 두 번째 경기에
we just cast the very first game of ASL Season 12 game, round of 24 Group A, game number 1. Very interesting game, and we are moving into game number 2.
Yep. Series number 2 is going to be Seolki versus Sins. Now remember from the interviews at the beginning, Seolki was talking about having learned something in previous ASL. Not sure exactly what he was referencing. He also talked about watching a lot of VODs. And we know that at the top of the meta on the Zerg chain right now, it's Soma. I see a lot of pros watching Soma so often these days. And this guy, he's really innovating the Zerg playstyle. I've seen him go like 9 hatch, 9 pool now. Since I'm not a Zerg main, I'm not sure exactly what the goal is with that. Of course, he gets additional larva. I'm not sure how that works out. But Seolki, from other players I talked to, he actually mimics a lot of the style that Soma goes for. People have told me that he goes for like 2 hatch muta often, like really low econ. So I'm curious to see how this will play out versus someone like Sins, who has just a crazy, crazy PvZ style.
Yes, and we just saw statistic information of Sins. He has 0% win rate against Zerg. I think who were the Zerg players he faced? Seolki in the very first ASL and Effort. What was the third one then? Do you remember?
Yeah, I can't remember. The only thing I remember about Sins is walking the Reavers across the map, man. As I'm watching it, I'm just like, what is this, dude?
Do you remember the game Inner Coven? The very weird map looking with the D-Web everywhere?
Yeah, I remember that map.
Yeah, I think Sins played against Seolki that time in ASL Season 9. But this is going to be the rematch once again. This is 3 seasons ago, but it is going to be played on Eclipse.
All right, let's get into Game 2 on Eclipse. This could be a potential revenge match for Sins if he actually did play versus Seolki on that Intercoven game. Now in the top right, we have our Zerg player. It is Seolki, and in the bottom left, our blue Protoss looking to do a little better this time around. It is Sins. Now, you off-race as Zerg quite a bit. I see you play versus Artosis. What can you tell us about some of the changes in the Zerg meta these days?
The Zerg meta recently of ZVP, I heard Zerg players like to go very fast third gas with the Spire tech, so they can get the air carapace for the Scourge and the Muta and focus on the Muta Scourge versus Corsair battle in the beginning and constantly pumping out lots of drone, because if Zerg gets out a couple of middles out on the map, all the speed lot can be held by a middleless with the only 1 sunken or 2 sunken maximum. And we see Sins is putting down pylon, very interesting looking pylon placement. It seems far away for the forge placement, is it? Because you know, when you make a wall, you usually make the gateway on the right side and the forge is always on the left side. But is it in range to build a forge with the Zerg Ag for the SimCity? That's my personal question.
I think it looked pretty good. It should be in range. I'm curious to see what Sins is going to go for, of course, but I'm really curious. Yeah, I'm really curious because I was just about to say this. Mini last season really innovated the no scout style where he powered extremely hard, going into straight cybernetics, really, even at his natural to complete the wall. I'm wondering if Sins is going to go for that. We do see that this is a gateway expand play from him. We do see that this was, I think, an overpool opener from Seolki, so he's going to have Lings out in time to deal with the Zealot pressure. Probe's going to come in here and see that this is going to be an overpool opener, and Sins is going to respond accordingly.
And judging by the probe scout timing, I think Seolki might expect that this is going to be the 12 Nexus, because usually when you do the gateway expand, you send out the probe scout as soon as the gateway. Unfortunately, Sins will be showing that first Zealot out, so Seolki knows this is going to be not 12 Nexus, gateway expansion most likely, and that Probe Harassment was chasing all the way to 12 o'clock, denying that buying some time.
Yep, really good scouting Overlord pattern. Not only does it catch the Zealot moving out, it also sees that the Zealot has turned around And is this going to be a forge? Of course it is. So this is not going to be the fast cybernetics tech build that we saw Mini innovate last season. This is going to be more normal, and Sulky should be able to deal with this pretty easily. There's the answer. Oh my god, that Ling went so far down and it still can't get through. Oh, it can't? What?
Oh, I guess it cannot.
It can't, okay.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I didn't think it could make it through, but it looked like at the very bottom it had actually made it through. So that's 2 Lings that Sins has easily killed, and now that's going to be a forced additional round of Lings for Sulky, so that's a lost drone for him, potentially.
Yeah, I thought Sulky played a lot on Eclipse, so he should know that Zergling cannot pass through on the right side of the gateway, but so unfortunately Sulky lost to 2 Zergling in the beginning, but he didn't start with the 6 Zergling in the beginning. There are a couple of differences when you go for 6 Zergling opening, 4 Zergling opening, or 2 Zergling opening. Whenever you go for 2 Zergling opening, you have those eco boosts in the beginning, and you can also get all those economic advantages with getting lair tech fast and speed fast. And we see Sins is not making a gas yet at 4 minutes 19 seconds. So
yeah, I was just about to say that. I was like, Scan, this pressure looks really strong because it's going to force out additional Lings.
Oh.
But Sulky has an Overlord in the main, and he sees that there's no gas, so he knows that as long as he holds this attack, he should be okay. But actually, look at the natural. There's a blue box at that gas.
Yeah, I think Sin spent all those. He wanted to have heavy minerals so he can constantly make those Zealot production without taking any break. So he got the 5 Zealot out on the map, and unfortunately 1 Zealot has gone down. One remaining one is very low HP, but it is still doing quite a lot of job. But since it's getting double gas on the way, so even though he didn't get the gas really fast, he got that double gas boost with the Cybernetics Core follow-up, and now Sulky has made a lot of Zergling.
Well, I think now that Sulky has seen that the main gas is so late that he probably assumes that, hey, this guy probably took gas at his natural also, because 4:35 minute gas in your main, I mean, that's really not a thing. And with all this additional gas, I'm thinking, okay, well, what's the potential follow-up for Sins? The first thing that comes to mind is probably double Stargate, right?
I think Sulky was expecting there's another second gateway, maybe somewhere at the natural, and constantly making the Zealot. So that could be one of the reasons Sulky made so much of a Zergling out on the map. And I think, didn't he build a Great Colony at the 12 o'clock site? I want to see the 12 o'clock.
It doesn't look like he did. It doesn't look like the creep extended much farther than usual. I'm a bit surprised that this is not double Stargate, because the Spire is going to be completing in the next 15 seconds or so, and unless Sins is able to buy some time with some Zealot pressure, which he doesn't even have out on the map, I think that this mute account could get up to a surprisingly high number.
Yeah, all those Vespene gases now disappear. I think Sulky is preparing for the Muta switch over here. Probably 5. Oh yeah, there is a one Sunken Colony at the 12. So I think Sulky was aware of 2G Zealot pressure and made a Sunken Colony at the 12 o'clock side. But now with the Muta follow-up, he will be pretty much trying to do some damage, but I guess Sins is also aware of this follow-up. He's adding a couple more cannons at the net and main.
Yeah, Sins is in trouble though, because he's got an additional cannon at his natural to defend his mineral line. He doesn't have that many Sares. He's building goons, which are okay versus mutas, but not really exactly what you're looking for. Looks like Sulky is not going to find any hole to kill those probes at the natural, so good defense from Sins right there. I'm looking at the mini-map, and I see that it's 4 hatch, I think, for Sulky right now. He doesn't have his 5th or 6th hatch up just yet.
I think he just finally added the 5th. Is that a gun range?
Yeah, he has range.
That is a very far gun shot, so that must be the gun range. Maybe he might have prepared for some kind of like a 1-1 upgrade with the Corsair maybe Gun, Corsair, Zala combination and then attacking Soulkey's Nag? He's carrying the egg already.
I'm expecting to see a Gateway Flood any moment now. We see that there's Citadel and no Templar Archive. So I agree. I think that this could be something like Sarah supporting the Mass Goons and Zealots. Okay, the Mutas are going to try and pick off a Goon there, but there's just simply not enough Mutalisks. What is it, 5? Okay, it looks like that's going to be 7 now.
I'm not sure what the follow-up is for Sins because we only see 2 Gateway for Sins. And he's adding, okay, finally he's adding a couple more about gateways. Templar Archive is about to be finished as well. I don't think he can heavily go for Gun against Soulkey because Guns are very weak against Zergling, and if Soulkey just constantly squeeze out all those Zergling and Mass Muta, eventually Soulkey will win the air battle because Corsair doesn't have +1 attack. And he can also go for backstab too.
I like this play from Sins though. Like he moved out with Goon Zealot and then just backed off, and it forced Soulkey to build some more Mutalisk. And you see that Sins was expecting this because he built more cannons at his natural. Now it looks like the main might have been a little bit open, but we see that Sins has teched into that archive that you already mentioned, and the Hydra Den is much later than Soulkey I think wanted because he was really expecting to see a Zealot Goon attack that never came. So now Sins has a pretty good comp, and I think he's going to be able to get into that 1-1 timing with an even better comp with 8 gates or so. He's also got his robotics done. Okay, that's a lot of Scourge and Mutas though. Oh no, 2 Sairs get caught instantly.
Yeah, so this is the downside of giving up making Corsair, because whenever Zerg is going for heavy Muta, Protoss is somewhat forced to make Mass Corsair as well, but I guess that trade was working out well for Sins, even though he lost a couple of Corsair.
Yeah, he ended up controlling the Sairs quite well. Of course, he lost a couple Goons, lost a couple Sairs, but I thought he was going to take more losses than he actually did. He lost both the Templars too, which hurts. Now, this looks like what you were talking about. Building the Mutalisks are just going to instantly intercept these Zealots. And, okay, he didn't kill any yet, but one is going to branch off and try and get a bit of scouting done. It's getting dangerous for Protoss. Now that Hydras have completed, I saw that the Evolution Chamber was done too, so +1's going to be done momentarily, I'm assuming. He's on 6 hatches. You also look at the supply, 110 to 100. That's always great for Zerg. Oh, Dark Archon. Was not expecting to see that.
Yeah, I guess Sins is somewhat having trouble dealing with the Mutalisk, but I guess Soulkey is not interested of going heavy Hydralisks, just like how Queen usually does, or Soma does. He is preparing for the Lurker switches, but I don't see any Observer out yet, but I think he does have the robotic facility at the natural.
Right, well, we see that the first Lurkers are out on the field. Soulkey, I think, has taken a hatchery at top middle. Yep, that is going to be his 4th base. And if we look at the comp now for Sins, I really thought he's going to get up into Critical Mass Goon Zealot on 1-1 timing with Sarah support. But after losing a couple of those Goons to the Mutalisk, he's now almost focused completely on Zealots. And Zealots, well, let's just say this. Not ideal versus Mutas, also not ideal versus Lurkers. And now he's gotten contained and scanned. How do you get out of this?
You're pretty much getting stuck at the natural forever. But I think there might be a chance, because he has the upgrade advantages with the 1-1 upgrade for Protoss and 0-0 upgrade for Soulkey. And oh my god, Soulkey's already preparing for the hype tech already. That must be the second evolution chamber at the main base. So that must be preparing for armor 1 with the maybe melee, the Zergling upgrade at the same time. So that is going to be looking scary for Sins, because Sins needs to be ahead of an upgrade in order to kill the Zerglings with the 2 shots with the Zealots.
Yeah, he does need to have 1 weapon upgrade to 2-shot those Lings. It's also a break point versus the Hydralisk too. You can 5-shot instead of 6-shot. Now we see that the lurkers are setting up in a defensive posture across the map. Sins all of a sudden shot up big time in supply. It's 170 to 130. Unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of his comp versus what we're seeing. Now this probe looks like it's going to be taking mid-left. There's just no goons in that army, man. He's got a Dark Archon too, but he needs something to hit from a distance. I don't see a Templar. Okay, he has one Templar.
I honestly don't understand what Sins is doing because he has been letting Soulkey to pump out just so many drones. Look at his. Yeah. We just saw his main base on the natural and the 3rd expansion and the 4th expansion. He has like nearly 60 to 70 drone already. So if we subtract that 60 to 70, let's say subtract 70 from the Soulkey's army supply count, then his army value is about like 80-ish, 80 to 90-ish. So how is Protoss going to fight against Soulkey's army?
Yeah, if Soulkey can find a backstab onto any of these Templars, it's going to be very, very good for him because there's only 3 Templars in total from what I saw. Here comes Sins. He's going to move across the center, hoping there's no lurkers. Fortunately for him, there are. And here comes that Mutaling backstab. And this is just the lurker field in a complete arc in the center of the map. And this is what I was expecting to see. Just an instant backstab onto the 3rd base to try to get a cancel off.
Soulkey is just going to be constantly rotating a couple of armies and buy some time and check out how fast or the third Nexus is. And now that the Defiler Mount is up, Soulkey is just having a great time, just turtling, waiting for Sins to attack. And okay, finally the plus 2 attack is finished. I would like to see Zerg. Okay, Zerg upgrade is only armor 1. So here is a one chance. He has the upgrade advantage. He gotta win the fight somehow.
Yeah, and it's actually a big deal that he got +2 weapon instead of +2 armor because Zerg has that +1 armor, so it would have negated +1 and then Protoss would have been back on even upgrades, and that's not good for Protoss. But you can see that there's just no angle for Protoss to attack, and Soulkey rushed Hive. So these Lings already have crack upgrades. We saw that the Defiler Mound is completed, so Dark Swarms can be out on the map at some point. Now, I have to say, this is a lot of lurkers, and lurkers are great for defending, but they're kind of hard to use when you're attacking. So actually, Soulkey, I think, may have been playing a little bit overly defensive. Sins might be able to get up a 4th base.
I think Soulkey is waiting for Defiler, because he had the Defiler Mount a couple minutes ago, but I don't see a single Defiler yet. Here's a 200 energy using Maelstrom on the Zerg, but that's not a very good Maelstrom. But not sure if this is a good trade, but we also saw Soulkey has the armor to upgrade, so Zergans won't die by 2 shots by the Zealot. This lurker field is just disaster. I don't know how he should be feeling. Killing.
Well, so here we go, another backstab to the 3rd base, and all the units are out of position. Sins, I guess, has realized that this is a dead base, so he's instantly just going to try and reinforce his army. But in that entire fight, I didn't see a single lurker die, so the lurker field is still huge, and he's building even more. And this is like 10 hatch Zerg production, so you know he can pump out a lot of Lings to support these very, very quickly. This is going to be Sin's last-ditch attack here. He's got to bust through this lurker field, and with the orange cloud coming down, that is going to be the end of Sins' dreams to win this game. He taps out, and Soulkey just obliterates Sins.
Yeah, I honestly don't understand. Like, Sins probably watched the other Protoss players like Snow, Mini. Mini has been using like double Stargate against who was it? Larva? Yeah, he also showed that double Stargate is really, really good against heavy Muta Scourge Zerg playstyle, and we saw Soulkey was going for second gas very fast with the 4 hatchery only, constantly making Muta with the Scourge and try to have those map control in the beginning. I wonder if Sins chose to go for a 2 Stargate and maybe have a better result.
Yeah, since he skipped that gas for so long and then he went double gas at his main and natural quickly around the 430 mark, I really thought that the only thing you can do there is to go for double Stargate, but he ended up going for the Goon Sair combo, and initially it looked pretty good because the Mutas did no damage at the natural. Looked like he was going to have the time to build up his Sair count to defend his main also, but in the end the Scourge got a couple connections. Soulkey just explodes across the map, and there's just nothing that Sins could do. What I liked that Sulky did was he rushed +2 armor at the end, if you notice that. So he was even in upgrades the whole game, and Protoss is just in a devastating position at this point. And now we're going to be moving into our winners match. It's going to be Sulky versus Noob, but before we get into that, I think we're going to go into another break, or it could be a potential Hot 6 commercial.
Yeah.
There it is!
Oh, Hot 6.
The king, baby! Alright, so Hot 6, they're back for another sponsorship of ASL 12. Nice to see them back. Let's talk about... we were talking about the maps earlier. We haven't talked about some of the new players this season. You know, there's quite a few new faces. Noob, he's here. Even though we saw Sins last season, I would say he's kind of new too, because we didn't see him in previous ASLs other than season 11. Hyun is back. Movie's back. I didn't even know Movie still played, and all of a sudden, last week or 2 weeks ago,
Movie came back just a week ago before ASL qualifier starts, and I think he got a second place in OGN, the tournament, and yeah, he's showing the career is just pretty much proving that taking so much of a long break, he can still just qualify for ASL like instantly.
Yeah, like when I saw that Movie qualified, I was like, what? Because I watch some of the Pro League games that the players do on stream, of course, and I see him qualify, and then the next week he's playing in Pro League. I'm like, man, I haven't seen you literally in like 2 years, right? It was just completely out of the blue. And also Hyun was surprising to me. Like, he just appeared. I think he actually got the last spot in ASL, so congratulations to him. But we also have Beast has returned. Last season we had Barracks, who kind of didn't have the greatest showing. The game that stood out to me was his 8 racks versus Protoss on Ultimate stream, I think.
Yes. There was a proxy 9 racks against Sins, and Sins has gone for the gateway at the natural. Oh, we're going to the commercial break. We'll be back soon.
Time for the winners match, guys. It's going to be Soulkey versus Noob. Both players banned Lemon. And the map is going to be Ascension. So we saw Ascension last season, and this was a really good map. I actually like this map quite a bit. We saw quite a few epic games. PvZ, in particular, is very interesting. There's a lot of high ground to low ground in the center of the map. And if you are ever able to get into a good position there, even if supplies are even, you can have a really, really good trade there. Now, we already saw Noob has taken down Sharp, who may have been the favorite for the whole group. I think he was the tier 1 player, right? So Noob already off to a great start, but Soulkey absolutely crushed Sins, and he looked untouchable there. And there were a lot of things that I liked that Soulkey did, like he rushed armor, which negates the Protoss players that have been skipping +2 weapon and +3 weapon for quite a while. So he's going to be a very, very difficult opponent for Noob.
I can when we looked at the ban from both of the players, I can understand for both players, because whenever Zerg started to take those double gas, then it's just going to be disaster, like making bunch of lurkers. And also same for Zerg, because if Protoss just takes another expansion like the third Nexus at the 12, 3, 6, or 9, then you'll have 4 gas already. So I think I can understand for both players.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of Lemon bans, unless somebody has a particular sniper build planned for a specific matchup. Now we do see that Soulkey is bottom left, and Noob, he is bottom right. Now this is something we talked about all of last season. Noob's on that position at the right side where he's able to get that mineral boost, right?
Yeah, he's doing it. He's pressing C at the moment, the top third one. And also there's an interesting thing. If you look at the fourth one, it also has the manual boost. Not the manual, auto boost. The third one is the manual boost, and the fourth one is the auto boost. And unlucky for Soulkey. Soulkey is mining the mineral to the left side. There's no mineral boost for him.
Yeah, and those mineral boosts really do speed up your build quite a bit. As a Terran player, sometimes you get a position and you're like, wow, I can actually build this depot at 8 supply instead of 9 supply, and you can thank the mineral boosting for that sometimes. Now we see Noob, he is going for, looks like we're going to have another gateway pressure build. We really don't see Forge expands almost ever these days.
9 gate, okay.
Yep, 9 gate.
Interesting gateway placement. I hope he didn't made a mistake with that one.
Yeah, it looks very tight if he's going to put a forge right next to it. So, yeah, I think this might have been slightly misplaced. Of course, Noob, he's an expert, right? So you gotta assume that it's in the correct spot, but just looking at it quickly, it looks like it may be in a troublesome placement. Now, Noob, he does scout the top middle, not going to find Soulkey. And Soulkey, this was a 12 hatch, if I'm looking correctly.
Yes, that now is a 12 hatchery and 11 pull.
Now versus 9 gate, is he in trouble with this opener?
I'm not sure, because the rush distance on Ascension is very far, and I'm not sure if any of Zala can do some harassment in the beginning, but here, okay, I don't see the Zala. It should be coming out very soon, and Soulkey will be finding out there's no pylon or gateway at the 12 o'clock side, so he will immediately figure out. Noob is located at the 3 o'clock side.
Where's that drone comes out, gets a pot shot onto the probe. Zealot, I think, was intercepted by the Overlord, so he knows that it's coming. Meanwhile, Probe's going to be a bit annoying, harassing that drone already. Forces Soulkey to lose a little bit of mining time. Meanwhile, Soulkey, He is buying time with that drone sitting on top of, or sitting in front of the Zealot, and we do see that the third hatch has already gone down at that third close by base for Sulky.
And yes, we see Sulky has put down the third hatchery and no extractor. Okay, he just finally built that extractor. That means we can assume he's not planning to go for any kinds of Zergling all in. But we see the Zealot Micro is not looking that great yet so far. Okay, 2 Zerglings so far. He's waiting for the second Zealot. Okay, never mind.
That was not the trade that Noob wanted. He wanted to get behind that mineral line, and we know that once a Zealot and Probe gets behind the mineral line, it can trade super effectively, but instead he's only going to get 2 Lings for his single Zealot and Probe, and that's going to give Sulky complete control over this early stage of the game. We see that Noob is rushing that Cybernetics. Oh, he's not rushing that Cybernetics. I thought it was a little bit faster than it actually was. It is just a standard opener from him. Meanwhile, Sulky has gone into Lair, I think.
Yeah, since his extractor wasn't that fast, I don't think he can do any kinds of 3 hatches Zergling all in at this moment. So we see 4 Zerglings will be doing the pressure, and remaining Zerglings will be standing at the net just to cut off any additional Probe Scout. Noob is building the... Okay, I like this. He built the core first, and he skipped all those defense tower before getting all those tech up. And finally, Stargate is already on the way. I don't think Sulky has a Spire tech already yet.
Yep, Spire should be starting pretty soon. Lair should be completing any moment now. Lings try to get in position to intercept that probe, but does not catch it. Pulls a drone off now. He'll be able to get it. Yep, he gets it. And I don't know if Sins actually saw the third hatch at bottom middle or not. So he may be wondering exactly what's going on. Oh, he cancels his Nat Gas, and instead he's going to put down a fast Citadel. That means more gateways going to be coming up, I'm pretty sure. Try and go for some pressure with these Zealots. He's already got 4.
Yeah, I think judging by the Zergling speed timing, I think Noob knows this is not going to be any super fast Lair attack with the Spire. Okay, yeah, there's a Spire, but I feel like Sulky is going to lose maybe 2 to 3 Overlord, but here is the Zergling speed just now finishes, and I think Noob has to be aware of any kinds of a Zergling run by, because he has only 1 photon cannon, and he is preparing for the shenanigan mode. I think he's waiting to put down 2 more gateway, so he can have 4 gateway for the classic, the old style of making only 1 Corsair into 4 gateway Zealot pressure.
Yeah, well, we may see that. I think he's just going to stick on... Oh my gosh, he gets a Zealot picked off for free. I think he's just going to stick on 2. I think 4 gates, that's a lot of resources committed to the ground. But we'll see if that's going to be the case. Really hope he doesn't stay on one Sair, because I think Muta's going to come out for Sulky to try and deal with these Zealots. And we do see that the Zealots are actually going to turn around now. We saw that Noob put down his second gas. It's just now completing. Meanwhile, Sairs are continuing to be built. I did not see Templar Archive.
Yeah, so since Noob has gone for the second gas really late, I don't think he has time for switching to that what was it? The Templar the Templar Archive with the 4-gate follow-up. I think Noob is just pretty much play standard over here, and we saw the Hydrogen with the second gas for Sulky, so we know this should be the height. I don't think this time he will not play the Mira Scourge build. We see he's going to have Mass Hydra momentarily with the Zealot speed is done.
Oh, those Zealots snuck across the map, and +1 should be completing any moment now. Generally, it kicks in around the 7-minute mark. It's 7:15. The Lings have no idea, and there is no defense at the natural. Okay, one sunken, but that's nothing really. He's going to easily pop this, and Sulky's scrambling.
Yeah, Sulky really needs to get those Hydralisks out, but when the sunken is down, and oh, it's a Mutalisk. Okay, never mind. That was not a. That was not a Hydralisk switch, so he once again Soulkey is going for heavy Muta switch because he got nothing else to defend this Zealot. And I think Zealot wants to take down the Spire. I don't think this is a great commitment.
He doesn't get it.
No, I don't think so.
Well, this looked like a good attack from Noob, but in the end, he kills a Sunken, and that's it. And now he really lost like 11 Zealots. He doesn't have a lot of gateways, like he doesn't have that 4 gate that you were talking about. He's just now building up his gateway count. And Soulkey, he's still on 5, oh, is that 6 hatch? He's on 6 hatch, he's got his evolution chamber. He's up in supply.
I think he should have just ignored the Sunken colony and just moved into the Zerg's main base and take down the Spire immediately. That could have done, he could have gotten the Spire if he has done that move. But
yeah, that was not, I thought it looked so good at the beginning with all the links out of position, but nice hold from Soulkey, and now he's in a dominating position. I think a drone potentially is going to be moving out pretty soon to take his 4th base. Oh wow, the Sayers don't even have +1 weapon either, so they can't even deal with Mutalisk just yet.
I think Noob is just pretty much lacking with the Vespene gas right now. There are so much about gas that Noob right now needs to spend. He needs to get the High Templar and Corsair with the +1 attack, but that commitment with the Zealot move wasn't efficiently trading really well there.
Well, we see that Noob is going to be the one trying to take another expansion, but after that trade and not having +1 on his Sayers and the Mutas have +1 armor, I don't know how he can do that. He's got to be careful in his main 2 cannons. With the Sayers, sure, that's a decent amount of defense, but that's so many Scourge. Soulkey does turn around for now, and we have isolated Templars at the natural.
Yes, and whenever, like I said, early game, Sins gave up the air battle. Like he had it to go for Mass Corsair, but he gave up. He switched to Gun with a couple of Corsair, and we see this time is a different solution for Noob. He's making more Corsair. He's even making up to 8 to 9. I think he'll even get more than that. But here is the Hydralisk switch. I don't know if Noob has enough army to hold this.
Yeah, I also don't think he has enough army. Soulkey's still up in supply. He's up 7 supply. Scourge may be able to connect onto these Sayers. They're trying to run away. He's got 7, but there's just so many Scourge. Oh, he finds the Templars! He picks off 1, he picks off 2. Luckily, there's a DT to help defend with this. I don't see an Overlord anywhere, so maybe Noob can hold on for now, but this is just so many Hydralisks.
Yeah, this is just a high ground Hydralisk is just pretty much doing the damage to the Zealot, and Cannon is just pretty much out of range. Getting abused, 1 single Dark Templar is doing some job, but when we look at the supply count, it does not looking great for Noob.
Yeah. Hydras are about to just sit outside of the natural. The forge is also open. I see that the cannon got taken down, but it just doesn't matter because there's nothing else to defend these Hydras. They're going to pop the DT. The Overlord, he's going to lose all of his Sayers too. And we know when all the Sayers die, that means that Muta's going to be coming out. But we're not going to see that because Noob just taps out. And Soulkey, he's going to be our first winner into the round of 16.
Yeah, that was a nice shenanigan move by Noob. I think if he took down the Spire, all of his plan probably worked out well, but he was over-committing to take down the Spire, and he couldn't get it. He was started to fall behind so much because he has spent so much of the money for the Zealot production in the beginning, and he also skipped the second gas, so he was just pretty much lacking with the Vespene gas in the mid game.
Yeah, the timing looked really good too because it hit right before Mutalisk came out, so you thought, okay, wow, he's actually going to kill a lot of stuff, whether it's the Spire or whether it's the drones, but those Lings got back so quickly, ended up helping to defend, and then it was like 10 or 11 Zealots. That's just way too many to lose. If he had lost something like 6, for sure, I think he could have held his 3rd base, but losing that many, just a little bit too much, and Soulkey capitalizes. And now I think we're going to be going into winner's interview? Maybe?
Yeah, we should be.
ASL 시즌 12 24강 A조 경기 함께하고 계십니다. 가장 먼저 16강에
We are now going to interview a very first person making it into round of 16 in this ASL season 12. Congratulations to Seoki.
좋은 약이 됐던 것 같습니다. 오늘 두 번의 토스전 거의 빈틈없는 완벽한 경기력으로 또 승리를 거두고 이번 시즌 가장 먼저 16강에 이름을 올리게 되셨는데요.
in this Zerg vs Protoss.
진짜 오랜만에 근데 경기라서 긴장을 좀 많이 했거든요.
And Seoki said
경기력은 마음에 안 들긴 하는데
he is not satisfied with his
걸려
performance.
어떤 뉴스요?
He's not satisfied with his performance and
승차의 측에 그런 저주가 걸려 있어서 조금
he's
불안했어요.
somewhat not
조금
happy.
불안하셨군요. 네.
That he wants to cure from those
두 번의
jinx
토스전에서
that
사실
Snow
김민철
has
선수
been
경기
throwing
내적인
out
내용으로
all
봤을
of
때는
us
큰
Snow's
의미가
prediction on
없었을 거라는
YouTube.
생각이 들었는데 경기
Because
내용
when
어떤
Snow is
부분이
making a
조금
prediction sometimes for
불만족스러우셨을까요?
Seoki always gets eliminated.
약간
He wants to
그런
overcome
빈틈
from
하나하나도
his
없어야
prediction.
되는 건데 약간의 빈틈을 만들어준 게 그게 좀 아쉬운 것 같아요 저는.
완벽하지 못했다라는 김민철 선수
So
본인의 좀 만족감
Seoki said he wasn't
경기라고
perfect in
말씀을
game number
해주셨는데
2
그래도
against the
살짝
New,
위기가
where he
있었다면
lost the
마지막
track of
경기에서
Zealot,
이 돌아오는
Speed
상대의
Zealot,
질럿 때문에 조금은
and
당황을
he
하셨을까요? 라는 질문을 드려보고
somewhat
싶어요.
살짝
in a
당황을
little bit of a
했어요.
trouble
스파이어가
when
깨졌다면 조금
when Zealot was
위험했을
coming to his
거라고
natural,
생각은 했었어요.
네.
and he was
이제 뭐 장민철
also
선수의 그런 저주도 극복을 했고
having the pressure.
16강 경기를
What if he
준비하기까지
loses?
조금은
What if I
많은
lose my
시간이 남아
Spire?
있습니다.
How should I overcome
오늘은 또
against
토스전만 치렀기 때문에
Protoss
다른
if I lose my
16강에서도
Spire
다른
when I'm
득점을
already
만나게 될 수도
doing
있는데
Mira
김민철
Scourge
선수의
build?
어떤 부분을 좀 보완하고 싶으신가요?
아시다시피 제가 테란전을 제일 잘한다라는 게 많잖아요. 그래서
So what are the
기술이랑
things that you
테란전 좀
want to
보여드리고 싶었는데 좀
improve
아쉽고요. 그리고
and or overcome
저우전을 좀 못한다라는 이미지를 좀 바꿔보고 싶어요.
from your
그래서
weaknesses? And he
저우전을
said
좀 이겨보고 싶습니다.
김민철
a lot of
선수
people
이번
say
시즌에 본인의 좀
Seoki
극복하고 싶은
is
부분들이
good at,
많으신 것 같아요. 욕심이
Zerg
좀 많으신
versus
것
Terran
같아요.
matchup.
맞을까요?
네, 그렇죠.
he wanted to show how good he is
우승하는데
against the Terran. He wanted to play against Sharp, but Sharp couldn't make it into a winner's match.
오프라인은 그냥
So he
소수전도
is
못한다. 약간 그런 이미지가 너무 많아가지고
he's not satisfied.
바꿔버리고
He
싶은데
wasn't able to show his
16강에서 또 김민철 선수가
Terran matchup
어떤
skill?
강력한 모습을 보여줄지 굉장한 기대를 좀 모으고 있습니다. 개막전 그래도 이렇게 시원한 승리를 팬들에게 안겨주셨는데요. 팬들에게도 한 말씀
So
전해주시죠.
you have been showing great games to
아직 그래도
all those of you out there
좋겠습니다.
from game number 1 and
좀더
game
좋은 경기 하면
number 3.
그때부터 좀 믿어주셨으면 좋겠고
What any last word to your fans?
보여드리도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
네, 인터뷰 감사드리고요. 16강 경기 때 뵙겠습니다.
감사합니다.
He will work on his
자, 이렇게
mistakes and
개막전
weaknesses
경기에서
and
가장
try
먼저
to do his
승리를
best
거두고
and
16강에
show his
오른
great
김민철
performance
선수와
on
함께했습니다.
next stage
계속해서
on round of
이어지는
16.
패자전과
Thank you
최종전도
for
함께해 주시고요.
letting me.
저는 잠시 후에 오늘의 두 번째 진출자와 돌아오겠습니다.
And
Seoki
we're done.
played.
Yeah, we're done with the interview.
Seoki played very nicely. He makes it out in first place. Not really a shocker there. Seoki's a beast. Now we're gonna have a bit of a shocker. It's gonna be Sharp versus Sins in the losers match. Loser here is gonna be eliminated. Man, that'd be so unfortunate for Sharp.
Yeah.
디자인하면서
Alright guys, we're back. We're about to get into the losers match, and again, both players veto Lemon. We're going to have Revolver as our map choice, and this is the map that I was talking about earlier where the entrance, or the natural, is wide open. It's pretty difficult for PvZ, but of course this is going to be a PvT, so that's not going to be a big factor. Now, I wanted to ask you, Scan, I'm sure you've played with Sins quite a bit, and we've casted him like 2 or 3 times. And every time we see him play, it's just such a weird build. Is he known in the Korean community to play weird openings?
We are just pretty much known him as a very aggressive player in the beginning, and somewhat non-standard build, non-standard strategy that often like he's completely doing the opposite build. Oh, we're looking at the new map, the Revolver.
Yep, Revolver, huge open center of the map. You can't really see very well the natural, but there is a small bridge there, and it is pretty wide open for PvZ. But PvT should not be a big deal. I like the high to low ground stuff. It's got like a Heartbreak Ridge type of center. So Terran needs to be very, very careful as they move through the center of the map. Otherwise, Protoss could easily take a favorable engagement. Likewise, Protoss needs to be careful to not engage into high ground, because if they do, tanks are just going to eat them up.
They're also explaining about the rush distance. From the ramp to the ramp, the vertical matchup is going to be 27 seconds scouting time. Horizontal matchup, it is 33 seconds, and crossbond it is 37 seconds. So wow, horizontal matchup and a crossbond is nearly a similar rush distance, so I guess it doesn't really matter much.
Yeah, I was not aware of that. 6 seconds is a big deal, even though that might not come into play in this particular matchup unless Protoss opens with like a forward gate. I'm thinking we may see a lot of bust Terran versus Zerg on this map if we see, what was it, vertical spawn, the 27 second.
Oh, I lost connection. No wonder. But anyways, we'll wait for my internet service provider to get my connection back.
I'm trying to think back to their win percentages. I think they said Sharp had 43% win rate versus Protoss, so that's his worst matchup. Meanwhile, Sins doesn't have that many games in ASL, so we can't really rely on his statistics. And I'm hoping he puts up a better showing versus Sharp here than he did versus Sulky. So let's get into game 4 of the day. Loser here is out of the tournament. It is Sharp versus Sins.
Sorry, I lost connection. So you were asking me a question earlier? What was it?
No, I wasn't really asking a question. I was kind of stating that we may not see aggressive play in this particular matchup on this map, but with the vertical spawns being so close, only 27 seconds, is like Marine Medic busting a big thing on this map versus Zerg?
Oh yeah. So when we look at the matchup of where players have spawned, it is going to be the horizontal matchup, and I think this is not going to be looking good for Sins, because normally you usually take your third expansion towards to right next to your natural. For Sharp will be 1 o'clock, like 12 o'clock side, and same for Sins. However, if Sins is taking the third expansion towards to Sharp, Sharp can kill it. And he can also abuse the terrain, like, what is it, building up all the missile turret and just climbing all the way up to Sins' third expansion. Then he's going to have a tough time. And if Sins is taking the third expansion at 9 o'clock, he has to build a lot of pylon for sure.
Yeah, well, this is the horizontal spawn, and if I remember correctly, this is the 33-second rush distance. Now, this is an interesting gateway placement. I personally hate when Protoss players... Oh, no. For some reason, I thought that the ramp was at the top right of this map. My bad. So this is just a standard gateway placement. What I was going to say was, when Protoss players hide their gateways, sometimes I go in and I expect to see something and I don't see anything and I just instantly leave. And then I don't scout them. But that's not going to be the case here. This was just a normal positioning. Ooh, second pylon, so we're going to have some Zealot pressure.
So Sins, and I'm also looking at Sharp. So Sharp hasn't stopped any of SCP production. He has gone for the 12 refinery. Oh, never mind. He's going back into Sharp's main base. I think he saw that barracks in the last step of vision.
Yeah, he may have thought that SCV was going down to build like a 14 command center or something, and he wanted to stop it. But instead, that was just normal opener from Sharp. Now this gas from Sharp, I think he was intending to go gasless because the gas seemed a little bit slow. Maybe not. He is starting to mine that gas, and he is going to be going into his factory.
Yeah, he's cutting a little bit of gas in the beginning because he was getting all the probe harassment. He wants to optimize and balance out the mineral and Vespene gas. And he will have 200. Okay, he's queuing up another Marine before the factory, so I guess he knows this has to be a Zealot pressure.
Yeah, we see that Sharp ended up going for that vertical scout. Doesn't find him there, and he goes for the cross scout. He knows that the probe got across the map extremely quickly, so more than likely this was just a horizontal scout. Meanwhile, Zealot was not intercepted at all, so for now he has no idea. Okay, he is building a third Marine preemptively. We gotta pay attention, make sure he does not cancel that. Okay, it didn't cancel. So 3 Marines, that's gonna be a good defense for Sharp right now.
Yeah, Sins is the type of guy who likes to play very aggressive, and there's one... Oh, okay, so SCP will go down. Factory is getting delayed here. And I'm not sure what the scouting SCP is thinking. Okay, their scouting SCP is still alive. Sins is building on another pylon. So that is a third pylon for Sins. Sharp is counting how many pylons there are at Sins' main base. So he knows this is not going to be any kinds of a Dark Templar opening.
Yeah, and it was crucial that he found that pylon because actually Sins was mind gaming quite a bit. You can see that he's got a lot of resources. He did not start range. So the SCV came in, saw nothing. And if you're a Terran player and can't find that third pylon and there's no range and there's no nexus, all of a sudden you're in panic mode. Okay, where's the proxy citadel? Where's the robo? You know that the guy's up to no good. So this was a crucial scout to find that third pylon, and now Sins can't get away with any tomfoolery. Meanwhile, command center comes down for Sharp.
This is a very weird build when I look at Sins build because when Sharp was escaping that scouting SCV, he saw that fourth pylon was being made behind the mineral field, and he also confirmed his nexus is also slow compared to his command center timing. And he sneaked out one of the vulture tours to 11 o'clock site. He's hiding. I'm not sure if Sins' pylon is showing that vulture.
Look at this. That was a genius move from Sharp there to try and draw the goons out of position, but equally genius to leave that Zealot on hold position at the ramp. Do not let this Vulture in, because if the Vulture had gotten in, he would have saw that this Robo is pretty darn fast for the opener of Sins. And Sharp must know that something's up because he's already sending out another SCV to look. And he's already got a Vulture out, so the Vulture you would assume would be enough to scout for proxies or hidden tech, but he's not confident in that.
Yeah, Sins is very stubborn to find that Vulture at the moment. And okay, the spider mine research just now finishes. I think Sharp really wants to put down the spider mines. Oh, and he's also laying down the spider mines at his natural ramp because he doesn't know what Sins is doing. He doesn't know whether this guy is going for some kind of weird build or maybe some kind of aggression with the Zealot with the gun and busting his bunker. I guess that is not going to be happening. And we see no other than observatory.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that it is an observatory because he ended up rushing the Robo on one base before the Nexus. I thought for sure it was going to be a Reaver opener, but not the case. He is just going to play it safe, get that fast observer out. We see that Sharp has put a turret at his natural. Should see a turret at the main pretty soon too. Mines are setting up across the map to prevent any easily taken third bases. And Sins, I saw he put down a second gateway. He's got his Nat Gas up and running too, so he's going to be teching. Ooh, is that going to be carriers?
Yes, it is going to be the carrier, and I think since it's somewhat aware of a vulture drop, he's sitting all those goon at the main base. But whenever that observer, the observer will see there are 2 factory, and whenever the second factory finishes at this time, he should be knowing that it's not going to be a vulture drop. But Sharp doesn't have any intel. He knows that there's no third nexus so far, but Sins is already preparing for carrier opening.
Yep, Sins comes in, sees that everything is normal. It's a 2-fact opener with armory, so he's going to be getting those upgrades. There's no starport hidden anywhere. Meanwhile, Fleet Beacon starts, second Stargate starts, and because Sharp ended up going into the fast eBay, his Academy is going to be lagging behind a little bit. Still, it's a normal timing, but in this particular scenario, of course, he would have preferred to scan the Stargates ASAP. Now, this Vulture gets a crucial scout off to see that the third Nexus is quite slow.
Yeah, when we look at the 9 o'clock expansion, we can see I don't think Sharp will ever think this is going to be the carrier opening, because when he just looked at the Nexus timing, maybe he's just playing standard, but since it's just pretty much pumping up all those resource for all those double Stargate.
Yeah, I don't know, just based on how Sins plays, he doesn't strike me as somebody like a two base Stargate guy. I would have expected to see something like, it might be a command center. I would have expected it to be 2-base Arbiter or something. That seems like more in Sins' wheelhouse if he wants to be aggressive. Now the scan goes off. He sees that it is 2 Stargates. I think we see the 3rd and 4th factory going down for Sharp in his main.
I wonder what kind of decision making Sharp will make against carrier 2-base carrier opening into 3 Nexus. And since it's pretty much clearing all those vision, good job on there, killing the vultures, and we see maybe that was not a that is not a command center, that was a starport. And finally Sharp is Sharp is going to expand. He's not planning to move out.
He is ramping up his factory count though. He's at 5. He is taking mid right. I did not see. Oh my gosh, that's a big mine hit. Takes down a lot of the shields of those Dragoons. I didn't see a science facility anywhere, so even though he has the starport, I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to rush his +2 weapon. Now the eBay gets taken out, and these goons are dangerously low, and Vultures have set up mines in the back, and this might be the entire army of Sins getting caught off guard, and that's going to open up a huge window for Sharp.
Nice clear of a spider mines.
Oh my gosh, he ends up picking off those probes, and Sins actually did do a good job to save those goons. I thought they were all gonna die.
Yeah, this push is really looking strong, and finally the 2 carrier just came out. But Sins has nothing besides 1 interceptor each in each carrier, and if those Siege Tank have a great position up here, those Zerg Ag is pretty much blocking all those paths, and goons just becoming so dumb they cannot do the trade here.
Yeah, 2 carriers is not enough to fend off this army. The Goliath count is very, very low. It's only at 4, but because the interceptors aren't at 8 just yet, the carriers can't do anything. If Sharp can build some more turrets, I think he can breach this natural. Remember, he has mid right, and I see that he has already taken the gas there, so he can commit fully on tanks and Goliaths non-stop.
I'm shocked that this push is even working. And he's also taking the 3rd expansion at the same time. You don't normally take 3rd expansion plus do the timing attack at the same time. This never works, but
yeah, you kind of have to pick one or the other, but Sharp, he's doing it. That Vulture or that mine hit opened up a big opening for him, and then the mines in the back, really nicely done. He does need to build some turrets though. Remember, he lost his eBay, so now he's finally now he's able to build up the turret count. Oh man, he's even building turrets on the low ground too. And Sins, what do you do in this position? He can't get out of his main.
Yeah, all those carrier does not have interceptors, and even if he has all the interceptors, I don't know if Sins can fight against those number of missile turret and Goliath in the future, because they are just pretty much killing the interceptors just like one shot each with the Masked Goliath.
Well, we see that there are 4 interceptors done on that carrier, and it makes me worried that maybe he doesn't have the interceptor upgrade. Hopefully he does. Goliaths are at +1, which is not the strongest breakpoint for Terran. Really, you want to have +2, but it's still enough when the carrier count is not that high like it is right now. 3 carriers, that's it. He's going to try and defend his third base, and he may be able to. Well, maybe not, because more Goliaths reinforcing.
Yeah, not enough ground army for Sins to hold this, but the carrier is so dangerously low HP. It's not looking great, and the longer the game it goes, Sharp will be starting to take more of an expansion at the 5 o'clock side, and I think I saw there was a second armory at the natural, so he's already preparing 2-2 upgrade or 2-1 upgrade by now, and more missile turret is going to be built up at the Sin's natural, so I don't know how he will even try to break this.
Yeah, just mass turret the Nat with tanks and bunkers, and then use your Goliath to try and break this third base. That carrier only needs 1 more hit to get taken down. Sins has done a really good job to whittle down the Goliath count.
So yeah, the science facility is now done for Sharp, so oh wow. Sharp can't even build the missile turret at over there, so he's just pretty much making a bridge like of a missile turret line and pretty much supporting all those Goliath from the low ground. Wow.
Well, as I said, Sins has done a good job to deal with this Goliath play from Sharp. It's not critical mass Goliath just yet. Now more Goliaths are reinforcing. He does need to be careful, because once +2 hits, that's, like I said, a huge break point for Terran. I see Sharp has hidden bottom right, so he's going to have 4 gas income. He's even transferring SCVs down there now, so he's going to have a lot of resources coming in pretty soon. And at this point, you know, Sharp doesn't actually have to attack, really. He can just starve Sins out. Sin's going to be mined out in his main in a second.
Yeah, that too, and he's also making more Marine and more bunker over there. And he's just pretty much playing like TVT over here, just building mass missile turret and pretty much caught off all those any flying units or caught off vision off guard. Oh, even Spider Mines will support here.
That's a big tank shot, takes down one of the goons, going to take out even more goons. Meanwhile, Sins, he still has all of his carriers stuck at the mid-left position, so he can't even help save these units. Meanwhile, those Stargates continue to blink, so if he can get up 2, 3, 4 more carriers, I mean, he's going to have a lot of DPS that Cybernetics has been spinning the whole time, so these carriers should be at +2 weapon. There's just so much. Damn, that's a lot of turrets.
Yeah, I don't know if those missile interceptors can pick up like Siege Tank or SCV to delay the time of having more missile turret, but I'm not sure how he will make a comeback here. The supply count is nearly looking to even, but when we look at the economy, Sharp is getting prepared for the 5th expansion. Okay, there is a 5th command center going up. Oh.
Yeah, Pro did manage to sneak out the bottom left, but instantly got picked off by that Vulture. Meanwhile, more turrets being built at the Nat. Another bunker, 3 bunkers there too. And Sins, he is mined out in the main. This is the scenario that I was talking about. He also lost his shuttle, so he can't transfer those probes to mid-left. And now we see that +2 weapon has kicked in, and there is no armor on these carriers. So the interceptors are going to get absolutely eviscerated. Carriers moving to the mid-left position to try and defend that. But Sharp's maxed out, man. This is just so much anti-air.
Yeah, this Masked Goliath is just killing interceptors, just like flies.
There we go. Sins is going to move out. No speed on these Zealots. And he's going to do as best as he can, but the Sim City, mass bunker, mass turrets. Look at half the units are even stuck in the main. They just can't get out.
they're just getting stuck and cannot really move. And Missile Turret is also blocking the path. And Zealots are pretty much dying for free.
Half the turrets are still alive, man. They're okay. Well, now they're all gone. Well, Sins, I mean, he cleared out a lot of it, but look at the supply. It's at 90, and unfortunately for Sins, that's going to be the end of his ASL run. Two base carry ends up backfiring, and Sharp, he gets a bit of redemption from his first game versus Noob.
Yeah, Sins. I guess Sins was prepared to show some carrier build on this revolver map, like a new map, but the Sharp's timing attack with the 5-6 tank, the couple of Goliath with a couple of Vulture laying down the Spider-Mans from the behind, pretty much killing all those, well, he didn't kill all the goons, but it just pretty much forced Sins to pull back, and Sins couldn't hold that push.
Yeah, Sins just didn't have the strength in his goon army to engage that small army from Sharp. Like, actually, it was only like, what, 5 tanks, a couple of Goliaths, and 3 Vultures. I mean, it wasn't really that strong. Sins had 12 goons and a Zealot. He easily could have microed and bought time, but the big mine hit allows Sharp to get into position, and he capitalizes instantly. Unfortunately, Sins' ASL run is over. And now we're going to be going into commercial, and then we'll be back with Sharp versus Noob. Alright guys, we're back and we're about to get into our last game of the day. It's going to be a rematch of game 1, Sharp versus Noob. We saw Sharp fall earlier on Eclipse, but now the map is going to be Largo. What do you think about this map, Scan? Oh, looks like Scan's not here right now.
Sorry, my mic was muted. The Largo is somewhat designed similar looking to Polypoi, but less terrain. It's somewhat wide open to the center of the map, and you can pretty much easily move out. But at the same time, it is somewhat difficult to defend your third expansion, the Minor expansion, when Protoss is attacking you, because it's a high ground advantage, and your tank shot also probably miss from the low ground to high ground. And whenever Noob wants to like crush against Sharp's army, then he can always just commit and dive in. But let's see of the map information that the crossbond scouting time will be about 39 seconds, and horizontal and vertical matchup it is going to be 30 seconds. I think it's going to be just pure macro battle most likely, in my opinion.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it is hard to defend those third and fourth bases, so we'll see what Sharp has planned here. The center of the map is very wide open. Actually, this map kind of reminds me of, is it Sniper's Ridge or Bloody Ridge? I can't remember exactly, but the one where you like don't have vision going up towards the center of the map, and then you have the mid bases. It reminds me of that one. I can't remember exactly the name. But let's see what Sharp and Noob have a plan for us. This is the last match of the day. Loser here is going to be gone. So we'll see if Noob can repeat from earlier, or if Sharp is going to take revenge here and make it out of the group in second place. So in the top left, our blue Terran player, it is Sharp. And then in the bottom left in the white, our Protoss, it is Noob. Now we saw Noob last time around go for that 12 Nexus. You think we could potentially see that again, or is it more than likely that we're going to see normal play? Oh, you said you were practicing with him, right? So does he have a special build plan for this map?
I only practiced with him for the very first map on Eclipse. He said he will do the 12 Nexus, but I didn't practice with him on the other maps, so I have no idea what Noob is prepared for this game on Largo. But since it's a rush distance plus the map design itself is just kind of like a macro game, I feel like Noob might go for 12 Nexus once again if he feels like to.
Yeah, and you know Sharp is thinking about that. You know, this guy showed me 12 Nexus. I wonder if he'll go for 12 Nexus again, because I noticed that a lot of players, once they show like a weird opening once, a lot of times they commit to it a second time. So we'll see if that's going to be the case. And look at that. Yeah. That's an additional probe. And that is going to be back-to-back 12 Nexus. Oh, man. Sharp. Well, let's just say this. Even if you're not a Terran fan, you hope he scouts first.
I thought Sharp was gonna build the barracks at the natural and going for the Rex plan, but never mind. He will be building the barracks at the at the ramp, and we'll be building the refinery at the 11. So whenever Terran is going for 11 refinery, he is steadily for sure he wants to kill 12 Nexus if Noob ever tries to go for 12 Nexus, and we gotta be looking careful where Sharp is going to scout towards to.
Okay, is gonna go horizontal or vertical? He went horizontal. And this is Artosis luck right here. Artosis never gets to get the first scout off. And what makes me even more sad about this scout is think about the scout pattern that Sharp went for last game. He scouted vertically.
Oh
So I'm sitting here wondering, like, what's the reason here that on this map he scouts horizontally? He easily could have gone for another vertical scout. This time, gonna backfire, and he's gonna find him at the last position. Now, when you get a last scout versus 12 Nexus with an 11 factory, is it gonna be in time to build the Vulture?
I think he still can, but when we look at the rush distance, I'm not sure if that scouting SCV will arrive on time to build a third depot and go for the cheese here. But eventually Sharp will see the 12 Nexus since he's doing the end scout pattern. Second depot will be finished soon. I think he'll be able to put down the third depot and go for the cheese here. He will be seeing the 12 Nexus going, just finish warping. Let's see where he's gonna spend that mineral for. 200 minerals still.
Well, he has taken a lot of damage on this SCV. That's a big deal. It's going to be harder to get that bunker up quickly. But Sharp is going to be thankful that he at least opened with that 11 gas, like you said. Now, again, okay, there we go. I thought he only pulled 5 SCVs again, but this time it is 8. And remember, last time he only pulled 5, and that was not enough to help him bust this natural. So this time he has learned that, hey, if I'm going to commit to something like this, I need to really commit. Second gate has completed, so 2 Dragoons are going to be popping out within the next 15 to 20 seconds, but the SCVs and Marines are already here.
Yeah, Noob is... I don't know what Noob is planning to do. Is he going to fight against Sharp's SCV? I think he should just give up. I think he should just give up that fight, because the Vulture is really, really fast.
Alright, so this is a situation that a lot of people ask me about, is if you're going to lose your Nexus like this, can I just save all the probes and be in an okay position? Well, that's a nice catch. So what are your thoughts on this position for Noob? Is it okay that he basically trades a Nexus to get out maybe 2 or 3 probes?
Personally, it is best to give up the Nexus and just try to pump up all those gun production and get the gun range. But he is not planning to get the gun range. He's getting the robotic facility immediately. So interesting decision making over here. Sharp is pulling back a couple of SCV, leaving 3 SCV at the Noob's natural.
I love this bunker position. It's in such a good position where the goons can't easily like run off to the side. Like, they're going to take a lot of damage. And he can't set up an arc on the low ground with these goons. Like, they come down and they're going to be in range of the bunker. So not a lot of surface area for the goons to deal with this bunker. Really good positioning from Sharp right here. Now, of course, the common follow-up is to go for mines. Looks like, yep, they have completed. And Noob is going to have a tough time getting down here, but he has gone straight into the robo, like you said. Support bay coming down instantly.
Interesting follow-up for Noob here. And Sharp is already making a seize tank. So when we look at Sharp's build right now, he spent those mineral and investment gas for Spider Mine plus the seize tank follow. His CC is really slow, but when we look at Noob's build, he's not planning to bust the natural, not anytime soon. So Sharp needs to be aware of this Reaver follow-up.
Ooh, look at this. Elevator probe to bottom middle. Okay, he is going to... Oh, I thought he was going to go off to the side. Now, Sharp rallied a tank across the map. And I have to point out that Sharp should know, like, hey man, where's your range? So I would already have alarm bells going off right now, like, range should have been done. What does this actually mean? And Sharp needs to get up an eBay. If this tank rallies across the map, Sharp might actually just die to a Reaver drop.
I'm not sure if this is a good idea to show the probe, scouting probe, because if
Yeah.
Noob shows his scouting probe as Sharp's natural, Sharp is just gonna be immediately guess. Oh, you have gone for this. Oh no, Reaper. Ooh. Oh, that was a fantastic micro. Okay.
He gets one of the vultures. But yeah, like you said, showing the probe was, I agree, a bit of a misstep, because he saw Sharp. As soon as he saw the probe, he instantly sent all of his units back to his main.
Yes.
Now, of course, he's going to lose the bunker, but that doesn't matter to Sharp. Those units have done the damage they need, and he saves all the SCVs too.
I think what Noob should be doing right now would be being greedy taking 3 Nexus at the same time because Sharp has been mining in the natural. Okay, I don't know how long, but maybe like 30 seconds by now. So Sharp is going to have those economy boosts soon, and adding more of a factory or even building an armory. Okay, I don't see any armory follow-up yet, so we don't know still yet. Noob has to make a decision here with the observer scouting, but I guess he's going to go for the bust here with the 5 gun with the first zealot, 1 zealot.
Well, this is going to be hard to bust because double factory has been done for a while. We know he has mines. We know he's got at least 3 tanks. He probably has siege mode spinning right now. He's got turrets set up. He doesn't have a bunker, but I think the SimCity is still going to be a little bit too strong to bust. We'll see if Noob can make something happen. I like the Vulture just sitting here. It prevents a probe transfer from easily getting to the bottom side of the map. Oh, but Rax lifts why? And now Reaver is going to set up, and the tanks are all out of position
oh, the
too.
missile turret didn't even finish on time, so now the SCV cannot evacuate because the siege tank is still on the high ground. SCVs are trapped. 1 Scarab shot will connect to the siege tank.
Oh my gosh, he saved that Reaver twice now. The mines have not connected, and Sharp gets his natural breach. Scan this position looks so good.
Look at the supply count. It's 30 supply difference. Okay, unfortunately, Noob lost his Reaver there, but he still has 3 Zealot inside of the shuttle. Whenever Sharp commits to move down, by thinking that hey, you don't have Reaver, so I'll just move down, then he will start unloading those Zealot on the ramp. Then the siege tank will get trapped.
Right, the shuttle was posturing like it wanted to jump on top of those tanks, but remember the Reaver got taken out, so there's only Zealots in there. And as you mentioned, supplies have plummeted for Sharp. Not only did he lose a lot of his Vultures, he lost the majority of his SCVs too. And Noob played greedy, right? Like, this is 3 Nexus now versus a Terran who's on 1 base.
Yeah. What Noob should be doing now is that he shouldn't be losing probe to this 2 Vultures, and 1 Vulture will go down. I want to see the last remaining Vulture HP. Okay, we'll pick up 1, 2, maybe 3 as a maximum. Okay, he got 3. Never mind, maybe it was 2 or 3. But that's still not enough damage. When we look at the supply count, this is completely dead for Sharp. Sharp cannot clear this low ground gun from the high ground siege tank, and if he ever moves down, that 3 Zealot inside the shuttle will just unload on the ramp and then just trap all those siege tank and start to pick up some of our army there.
Yeah, and Noob's fine with just unloading these Zealots over and over and over and denying a tank or denying a turret. Now these goons are stuck. I'm surprised that Noob stayed here this long because he's going to lose everything and not trade that effectively, but still the supply is still 85 to 55. Command center has been floated for so long.
I think he should save those 2 gun. Yes, he will evacuate those 2 gun before it dies to the siege tank.
Double robo.
Ooh. I think he's just feeling great today against the Sharp. He knows he's on point. He knows what's coming next for Sharp's move, because with the observer, okay, there's a star. Okay, he gets all the intel. He knows there's an armory and a starport. He knows what's coming, but this is somewhat like a double-edged sword for going double roll, because Sharp is already preparing for either 2-1 upgrade or maybe 1 more again, timing attack, but I don't think he will do it. Wait, is he going for the timing attack? What? He's moving out.
He's attacking outside possible. I mean, I guess Sharp is thinking like, well, I took so much damage, I have to do something. I'm trying to look, is he building more factories? No. Oh, the shuttle does not get it. Oh, it does get intercepted by the Goliath, and there's double Reaver in this, I think.
Oh no, it's going down.
Oh my gosh, he picks off both Reavers and shuttle. Those are expensive buildings, and Noob doesn't have that many gateways. He only has 4.
Yeah, he built that double robo plus taking also the 4th Nexus at the same time, and now Sharp is okay. Noob has quite a lot of army here. 4 Zealot inside of the shuttle. If he unloads, oh, I think this is a good trade because there are only 3 siege tanks. Noob has a lot of guns and a Zealot. They're pretty much supporting, soaking up all of the tank shot, and Gunther is moving forward.
Yeah, that was just a very, very far forward position. And look at this. Noob preemptively puts down pylons to make sure there's no vulture run by. And that means that Sharp is not only going to lose all of these tanks and Goliaths across the map, the harassment doesn't work. I see a dropship has come across, but I don't even know if anything's loaded up in that.
I also don't know, but these siege tank that Sharp right now losing at the 1 o'clock side, it is going to be crucial. Because he needs the number of a siege tank in order to take the third expansion, but now Sharp is unloading a couple of vultures. Okay, there are 3 vultures. We'll be picking up a couple of pros, but here is the counter drop with the gun and stopping all of the harassment.
Yeah, really nice dropship move from Sharp, but equally nice counter drop from Noob to hold that. Vultures, they're trying to make their magic happen. Remember, all of Noob's units really are across the map. At top right, another Reaver gets hit by a mine.
I think Noob needs to take a big breath and play slowly, but this vulture harassment is doing quite a lot of job. So Noob needs to be careful. Okay, he got the speed shuttle.
Yeah, these are big probe losses for Noob, but you have to remember, Protoss has 4 Nexus. He can build 12 probes in like 40 seconds. So Sharp did a lot of damage, but it's still not enough. You can see he's ramping up his factory production. I don't think any of those buildings were a command center. I think that's the 6th, potentially 7th factory, along with science facility. So Sharp's continuing to all in and try and pressure Noob, but Noob has stabilized and he's just slowly building up his supply.
Yeah, Noob is still having the supply lead here. Finally, the observer speed is done, so now Guns will be clearing the spider mines at the observer at the same time, so he won't be stepping on the spider mines here. I'm not sure where the 2 Reaver inside of the... Okay, there's 1 Reaver at the natural, but when we look at Sharp's supply count, he does have nearly a 3-digit number, almost 100, but he only has 4 tanks. That's all he has at the moment as a natural. I think he is planning to take the mineral expansion, but only 4 tanks against 140 supply of a Protoss army?
Yeah, I think that depot may even block his command center. Now this is triple shuttle, and this is really hard to deal with when you have a low unit count. And what I do like from Noob is he's going double forge, and 2-1 for Protoss is actually really strong versus 2-1 from Terran. So let's see what he... Ooh, shuttle going into the main. This is triple turret.
Reaver! Okay, we'll step on a spider mine.
This is kind of what Sharp needs to get back into this game, because this drop is not going to be... Well, maybe it is going to be effective. I forgot there's 3 Reavers here. Jeez.
That 3 Reavers is just absolutely doing great amount of damage. And when we look at the supply count, Noob lost about... Okay, he threw like 30 supply, including the shuttle, right? With the 3 Reaver. But look at the supply. He didn't lose anything. He still had 140 supply against 100s.
Yeah, and his 2-1 upgrades are about to finish versus Terran, who's only at 1-0. This is a massive power spike for Protoss. If Protoss was to just, do 1 or 2 more cycles and go, I think he could easily bust Sharp. Instead, he is teching into that Arbiter tech. This single Vulture has done a good job to keep the Protoss stuck on 4 bases. Surprised Noob isn't at 5 or 6 base just yet, but he's now sending out an additional probe to start trying to take bottom right.
Oh my god, that 3 Reaver did more damage than we actually thought, because look at the supply count. It turned out to be red color, so Sharp got supply block. Lots of buildings are on fire, so Sharp has to be repaired and get his rhythm back on the game. And Noob is also preparing for the Arbiter switch over here. But here is a 1 chance that Sharp can win the game. Would be Noob is throwing the army and stepping on those spider mines and just losing all those Zealot and Gund at the same time, and Sharp can just immediately move out. And like I said this map, it is hard to defend the 3rd expansion for Terran, but at the same time, the center of the map is just wide open. You can just immediately move out. There's no terrain stopping Terran's army.
Well, Scan sees that there's 4 shuttles, and I did notice that the armory died in Sharp's main, so he lost an upgrade. Here comes Shuttle Drop on top of all those mines that you mentioned, but here comes all of Noob's army in the back. But look at that tank line that goes so deep. This could be the meat grinder.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a good commitment for Noob because he's wasting. He's somewhat overcommitting, but that Gun should be stepping back. Step backward, and if he just take down the command center, this is a good trade for Noob.
Yeah, he is going to get that command center, and there was one Zealot in the mineral line that got splashed by tanks and killed a lot of the SCVs. It's so low, he does take it down.
I cannot believe, like, tier 1 Terran Sharp is losing to tier 4 Protoss. This is what's happening. And remember, Noob came back on June. Noob quit StarCraft for 6 months. And he just came back and made it into ASO and now beating his tier 1. So this is a new phase player is absolutely killing tier 1 Terran right now, we're seeing.
Yeah, and Protoss is playing very well. The probe transfer gets intercepted by the Vultures. This is what Sharp needs to try and stabilize the game. But again, this is a Protoss that's on 5 Nexus now. Like, unless you're killing 25, 30 workers, Protoss can rebuild this so easily. And we've also got Templars out. We assume it's for Storm, but it could also be for Hallucination. He's going to be moving out. I think he kind of has to, but look at his upgrade. It's at just 1-1. He doesn't even have the +2 power spike. Meanwhile, Protoss has 2-2.
Observer is out of place, and they're okay. Guns are stepping on a spider mine. Now having a great position for Sharp. 1-1 upgrade only.
Protoss is almost 3-2 upgrades, man.
Oh shit. Okay, there are storms available. But High Tempest needs to be careful. Nice storm on the Goliath.
Well, Arbiter's out also. The one thing I guess that is going for Sharp is that the terrain of this map, you know, he's going to have high ground when he fights. The problem is he's down 70 supply.
Yeah. And you know, the magic unit is just pretty much disaster for Terran to hold. So Sharp, I think Sharp is hesitating. He wants to kill the game, but he can't. He knows if he goes in, he will lose the battle. So now Sharp decided to move backward, maybe looking for a chance that Noob stepping on the spider mines and losing a couple of the army, or maybe that damage the Goon or Zealot and somehow make some comeback here. But here's the second Arbiter just came out. 140 energy available, 1 spell.
Yep, here we go. Noob is just going to clear out the mines. Sharp is moving back. Noob knows that all he has to do is kill this one army, and that's it from Sharp, because Sharp doesn't even have a command center at his third base. He's long distance mining that. So Noob, all he has to do is be cost effective with this army. Don't run his entire Zealot blob through mines and lose them all for free, and he's good to go. Supplies are pretty decent for Sharp. It's 155, but the problem is he's just got no money. His Nat's even going to be mined out pretty soon. Yeah, look how low that is, and he's going to be down to 1 base.
Yeah, we all oh, he just got the MP. Was that the Arbiter? Okay, not with the one had almost full energy. So there's a first Arbiter clumped up with the Mass Zealot. I think I don't know what Noob is doing. Noob has 3,000 mineral. He can go for the trade, but I think he wants to make sure that he doesn't want to lose all of his army. But
well, Terran has hit +2. That's a strong break point, and now Noob is kind of he finds Arbor and he EMPs it. Okay, and this army is all clumped together. There's a lot of storm here, but if he can focus down the Templars or get an EMP, oh my god, this is not the angle that Noob wants to attack from. There's so much Terran here. Storms coming from the shuttles. The mines hit both of the Templars, and now look at supplies plummet for both players. It looks like Sharp just barely doesn't have enough.
I think Sharp cannot win this fight because Noob still has 4,000 mineral, and he's just gonna be starting macroing all those gateway. The last remaining siege tank will go down. Sharp taps out. Noob is jumping on his chair. He's so happy that he's beating Sharp 2-0 in this round of 24 group stage.
Yeah, beats him on Eclipse, and now he gets another victory on Largo, and this time around, Sharp ended up killing the Nexus, and you looked at Sharp's follow-up and you thought, okay, wow, this guy's, he's just in an amazing position, and then the one mistake, he lifts his barracks, everything floods in, gets his natural breached, and that's all she wrote, really just playing from behind ever since then, and Noob, wow, man, I was not expecting this, especially after what you told me, him just starting to come back in June.
Wow. I am incredibly shocked that Sharp is out of ASL already in day one of a group stage. And you can see from Noob's face, Noob is very happy. He's probably watching the replay once again. How did I win this game?
Yeah, it was all because of that initial counterattack he did. It just did ridiculous amounts of damage. I love how he hid that bottom middle basement for the double expand that you talked about. He executed it perfectly. It did get a little bit dicey because Sharp was approaching critical mass with 2-1. Of course, Protoss still had 3-2. And then to lose all of his Templars at the end, I was like, really? Is Sharp really going to have a good trade here? But in the end, it's just too much supply from Protoss. Ends up overwhelming him. And Noob is going to move on along with Sulky. And now we're going to be getting into our interview with Noob. And I'm curious what he has to say because clearly he's excited and most likely was not expecting to make it out of this group.
We are now finished with the ASL Season 12 Group A, round of 24 Group A. Second player who is advancing into round of 16 is Noob. Congratulations. Thank you. You have been trying so hard, trying to make it into ASL so many times, and you finally made it into round of 16. We can see you are very happy. Any one word that you can express yourself? He said he can jump backward. He feels very happy that he can jump backward today.
네, 근데 조기석 선수를 두 번 잡고
So you beat Sharp 2 times in this round of 24.
선수의 컨트롤 굉장히 좀 날렵하다는 느낌을 받았거든요.
We were all impressed how well you were microing your probe and your unit's micros were pretty much like
근데 1경기가 좀 많이 중요했던 게
godly micro.
컨트롤적인 부분에서 좀 자신감이 그러니까 1경기가 끝나고 나서 자신감이 차 있었어요.
So Noob said about the micromanagement part. He said from game number 1 against Sharp, he started to earn the confidence when he was started to out micro Sharp.
Corner, so unfortunately for him.
Am I back?
Oh, you're back.
Okay, I have to refresh the
좀
website.
벅찬 느낌을 그때도 받았거든요. 첫 경기 끝나고 나서는 좀 어떤 느낌이셨어요?
진짜 첫 경기
So the caster is asking, how do you feel when you won?
제가 이기거라는 생각은 솔직히 안 했어요. 그냥
your first game against Sharp on Eclipse.
오늘 내가 하고 싶은 거 좀 이렇게 좀 배도 불리고 좀 나는 하고 싶은 대로 할 거야. 내가 약하니까 이런 식으로.
So he said in this round of 24 group stage, he is the weakest player out of this group since he's in tier 4 and he's playing against tier 1 player. So he has nothing to lose. He can play greedy. He can pretty much do whatever he wants. So Sharp has to deal with Noob's strategy, whatever the opening that he chooses to. So earlier I was explaining about the micromanagement part. He started to have the confidence when he started microing against Sharp. Game number 1, like with the Pro Micro and the Zealot Micro. And also the River Micro. So he started to get all those confidence.
하기 위한 좀 만반의 준비를 하고 오신 것 같았습니다. SCV도 굉장히 많았고 좀 김범수 선수가 흔들릴 만한 장면들도 있었는데 오히려
There were a couple scenes that you might start getting losing your pace and lose to Sharp's harassment and losing your probe and army. But you managed to keep up your tempo.
지금 가면은 이득 좀 많이 볼 수 있겠다 싶어. 그러니까 처음에
play
치즈가
well.
SCB를 너무 많이 데려오시다 보니까.
네.
So he's talking about like game number 5
이
on
완급조절
Largo.
김범수 선수 세 번의
Sharp
득점을
brought
거치면서
a lot of
좀,
SCB,
좀
so
편해지지 않았나
Noob
싶은 생각이
realized that he cannot
들어요.
fight against
지금
this
이
SCB
기분으로
with Marine
16강
and the
경기를
Vulture
바로 치르시고
follow-up.
싶을 것
He decided to give
같아요.
up.
지금은 이거 좀 만끽하고 싶어요.
그러시나요? 자, 16강까지 시간이 좀 많이 남았습니다.
So I
그때까지 또
think
김범수 선수의 경기력을 더
those
갈고
small
가까우실 텐데
details that
어떨 거라고 예상하시나요?
helped him
근데
to
일단 제가 3번 도전했는데
choose what
처음으로
he wants
16강을
to
가는
do.
거거든요.
네.
진짜 너무 설레고
and he last word
가서
and he said this is his
이제
first time
16강에서
making it to
떨어질 수도
round of
있지만
16.
더 높은 곳 올라갈 수 있도록 더 준비 많이 하고
probably,
하도록 하겠습니다.
조지명
knows
씨도
that he will not play
처음이시잖아요.
well
네 맞아요.
on round of 16
처음이라서
compared to the other players, but
설레요.
he'll try his best.
조지명식이 정말 중요해요.
He is very
16강에서
excited
알고
to do the
계시죠?
group nomination
아무래도
in round of 16,
잘 해봐야죠.
but he will try his
잘해봐야겠죠.
best and choose.
조지명식에서 먼저
right players
김범수 선수를
to
뵐
play
수 있을
well.
것 같은데 그때까지 계산을 잘 해오시길 바라겠습니다.
알겠습니다.
팬들에게도 한 말씀 전해주시죠.
Any last word to your fans?
ESL 3번 도전 끝에 맨날 24강에서 떨어져서 아
This is
좀
my third time making it
가고
into round of
방송에도 좀더
24.
많이
I've been
나오고
always getting
싶었는데
eliminated.
그래도
I
생애
always
처음으로
wanted
첫
to
16강
try my best, but it wasn't working well.
가게 돼서 정말 너무 기쁘고 응원해주신 팬분들 정말
Thanks to my fans.
네, 다시 한번 김범수 선수 16강 진출
He
축하드립니다.
was also
감사합니다.
not having much of a time to prepare for this.
자, 이렇게
First
해서
game of
24강
round of
개막전 두
24.
번째
The
16강
time was
진출자
running out
김범수
so
선수와
fast
함께
compared to the
인터뷰
other groups.
나눠봤고요. 오늘의 경기 결과 확인해 보시죠.
Okay, we are done with the interview. Thank you for rooting me. Did I lose
That
something
is-
again?
Yep, we are looking at the results today. Of course, we see Noob taking out Sharp, Sulky taking out Sins, then Sulky moving on, taking out Noob in the winner's match. Sharp eliminating Sins, and then Sharp falling to Noob again in the match we just saw. So Noob moves on. So we've got a Zerg and a Protoss already out in Group A. I'm sure they're going to show the screen for Group B. On Tuesday, Group B is going to be Best, 8-15, Sock, and Free. So another good lineup. Of course, we've got Best as the standout in that group. But then I think it's kind of a toss-up for second place there.
Yeah, this is some surprising result of round of 24 Group A today. I would like to see. Okay, we are seeing more of a. The next group is going to be Best versus Kante. He's also using 815. Sock versus Free. Free is also back into ASL.
Yeah, I noticed that. Again, Free was somebody that he played well in ASTL, right? He played really well.
Yes.
And then after that, he like disappeared for a while. Now apparently he's back. And 815, I don't think we see him that much, but he's made it into the ASL. And then of course we've got Sock again. And Sock, I think, is a Terran versus Terran specialist, right? So unfortunately no Terran for him to eat up in Group B. But again, I think this is still a pretty good group for everybody to make it out of. So
yeah, I'm excited to see some 815s against Best because I don't know who he beat in the qualifier. I think he beat Protoss and made it into qualifier, and now he's playing against Best. I want to see how well he's going to be playing against Best.
Yeah, that should be a good matchup. Best, and he's a monster every single ASL. But last season, right, he kind of... Oh, no, I was going to say he bombed out, but that's not true. He kind of just got obliterated by Mini. He got ultra mind-gamed by Mini. Remember those games where he kind of got proxy gated and got walled? His gateway got walled in. His goons couldn't even pop out. So he's definitely looking to get some revenge this time around. He wants to put up a better performance. We've got the casters here just wrapping up the day. Let me ask you this. Is there anybody that stood out for you today? Was it Sulky? Was it Noob?
I was rooting for Noob, and because I was his practice partner for just game number 1 on Eclipse. He did. I'm pretty sure he probably didn't prepare for other maps, but it turned out to be PBT again, and he just had all this confidence from game number 1. Like earned all this confidence from game number 1, and just kept on his pace and playing really well in the decider match.
Yeah, Noob played very well today, but I was most impressed with Sulky, and I'm looking forward to see him play some more ZVP, because the thing I noticed with him was he ended up rushing the Carapace upgrade. And you were talking about how Protoss players were rushing +2 armor, but the reason they were doing that was because Zergs were always rushing +2 weapon on their Hydralisk. So now if you have to also counteract the +1 Carapace, I think we may see some more very fast double upgrade style from Protoss players. So I want to see Sulky play versus a real superstar Protoss to see how his style fares versus somebody like that. But that's going to be it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, Group B is going to be on Tuesday, same time. So make sure you tune in. We're going to have Best, 8:15, and Sock and Free, and we're going to find out who's going to be moving into the round of 16 from that group. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on Tuesday.